Chapter 1275. They drank one glass after another. They encouraged each other. They were the hope of humanity. If they wanted to break out of this cage, they could only rely on them to hold up the sky. Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang drank a lot. It was not the alcohol that intoxicated them. On this day, Fong Ping recalled the drinking session when he graduated from high school. It was only 3 years, but it felt like 300 years. That time, everyone went their separate ways. Some walked the path of martial arts. Some entered society. Some chose to be a soldier. Everyone had their own path. He had not seen his old classmates for a long time. His parents had not talked for a while, too. He did not have time to care about his beloved sister. It was not that he did not love her anymore. It was that he did not have time to love or to hurt. Fong Ping carried too much on his shoulders. The king of man. These 2 words had imprisoned him. He willingly allowed himself to be imprisoned. Old Zhang planted the seed for him. Fong Ping, on the other hand, let the seed bloom and bear fruit. He was drunk and sober. With the help of the negligible alcohol, Fong Ping mumbled drunkenly. He joked, "Old Wang, have you thought about what you'll do when the 3 realms are at peace?" "Me?" Wang Jinyang laughed. "If it's me, maybe I'll be a teacher." "You'll be a teacher?" Fong Ping laughed. "You'll be a teacher teaching that little wife of yours?" "Screw you." Old Wang laughed. Fong Ping did not mind. He joked, "Speaking of which, 3 years have passed. Your little wife isn't young anymore." "Screw you. Nini is only 13 years old even now." Fong Ping laughed. "You remember it clearly," but Fong Ping sighed suddenly. "How long will the war last?" "Old Wang, maybe 1 or 2 years. Maybe 8 to 10 years. Maybe you and I won't see the end." Fong Ping laughed. "If the war lasts for 8 to 10 years, isn't that just right? When the war ends, your little wife will have grown up." Old Wang ignored him. As he drank, he looked up at the starry sky. Looking at the stars, he said softly, "Say, what do you think is outside the starry sky?" "The star of origin?" Fong Ping laughed. "I didn't think about it before. Now that I think about it, maybe it's the projection of the star of origin. It's said that the destruction of a star represents the death of a life. Now that I think about it, isn't this a source star? What about those who are very close?" "Are you stupid?" Fong Ping chuckled. "The closest ones are the continental fragments. Isn't that easy? Things like the moon were formed from fragments that orbited around the Earth. The ones that were further away were the source stars. This sun is the immortal spring. If you don't believe me, go up and take a look. After shattering the 9 heavens, perhaps you will appear above the sun." Lao Wang laughed. He picked up the jar of wine and poured himself a cup of wine. He chuckled and said, "Have you ever regretted it? Do you regret walking on the path of martial arts and entering MCMAU? What's there to regret? When the country is destroyed, is there still a place of peace in this world?" "That's not necessarily true." Wang Jinyang looked down at Demonic City and murmured, "Although ordinary people also have crises, they are not like you. 3 years are like 1 day, and you are in constant danger. You are fighting all over the place, unable to return home. 3 years ago, if I didn't give you any chances, if I didn't give you the methods of honing, if I didn't teach you pole standing, you wouldn't have been able to enter MCMAU. If you didn't enter MCMAU, you wouldn't be the Fong Ping you are today, and you wouldn't have to bear all of this nonsense." Fong Ping sneered and downed the wine in 1 gulp. "I'll be a hero when I'm alive, and I'll be a hero when I die. There's no regret. I'd rather control my fate in my own hands than let others control my life and death. You said that if you didn't give me everything 3 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am today. Maybe it's true, but even if I didn't have the strength I have now, I, Fong Ping, would never be willing to be mediocre and enjoy peace in the rear. Maybe today I'll still be fighting in the outer realm. Maybe it'll be more difficult and dangerous than it is now." Fong Ping laughed and said, "That's why I've never regretted taking this path. I only regret that I was given too little time. Otherwise, I would be stronger, more confident in breaking through all of this and regain my freedom. Cheers!" Old Wang smiled and raised his wine jar. Fong Ping might have many flaws, but Fong Ping could become a king person. Many times his charm was limitless. Fong Ping was at least an optimist. He had fought countless battles, and every time, he was on the verge of death. However, he never blamed anyone. Even if he was pessimistic, the Fong Ping he displayed was full of confidence, and he had never said a word of despair. Wang Jinyang admired him, not only because of his strength. If it was only because of their strength, there were many people who were stronger than Fong Ping, but how many of them could make him admire them? He had always supported Fong Ping silently and stood firmly on his side because of Fong Ping's imperfect personality. After a few drinks, the sky was almost bright. At this moment, old Wang suddenly said softly, "If one day, the few of us are really taken over by someone, I'm no longer me. Kill me. Kill us with your own hands." Of course, if the three emperors help the humans, there's no need to take revenge. Old Wang was calm. If we help the humans, then it's worth it. If we don't, you do it yourself. Even if we die in your hands, this life won't be in vain. Fong Ping looked at him. After a while, a smile appeared on his face. "All right, it's a deal. It's a deal." The two of them clinked their glasses. Fong Ping drank all the wine in his storage. It was time for a new journey. Breaking 7 was far from enough. On the 2nd of June, Fong Ping disappeared from the world once again. Some people watched him leave. They did not send him off for 10 miles, only praying silently. Now no one could fight side by side with him. He could only go on his journey alone. Of course, Fong Ping was not that lonely on this day. He brought a cat the size of a palm, to add some fun to his journey. The vast forbidden sea. As soon as he stepped into the sea, the kitten on his shoulder said, "Liar, let's eat." Fong Ping wanted to throw this cat away. How far had he walked? He had just stepped out of the house, and it was already in a hurry to eat. "It's time to eat." The cat felt wronged. "I've been eating 3 meals a day for a long time. Ever since it came to Earth, it had been eating 3 meals a day. It did not eat breakfast today. Now that it was lunch, the liar did not feed it either. Its diet was irregular." Fong Ping was helpless. He reminded, "I'm hiding my identity. Don't keep calling me a liar. Also, you're a rank 9 monster now. You can't speak, understand? Meow. You're not allowed to meow like a cat. You're a monster from the Tiger clan." The cat felt wronged. There was no way it could go on like this. It was not allowed to speak. "Where are we going now?" Aimlessly, the cat did not know where Fong Ping wanted to go. The Forbidden Sea was so big. It would be easy to get lost if it ran around. Not long after they left the house, the cat felt like running away. It wanted to go back to eat. "Let's go and see. We'll go to the divine sect first, then to beginner, then to the tomb of heaven." Fong Ping laughed. "I've been to the Forbidden Sea many times, but I've never seen it slowly." "Oh right, the Demon Emperor's Demon Court has been established. The chaotic divine nation, Moon Spirit's royal house, and the Celestial Pole's western palace are all in the sea. If there's a chance this time, I'll go and see them one by one. Are we going to empty them all?" The cat asked doubtfully. "If we empty them, they'll beat you up." Fong Ping frowned and pondered. What kind of experience did it have to make this cat so perverted? He was just going to visit an old friend. Why did it think of emptying them? Besides, the current Fong Ping did not care about some useless resources. It was not the past anymore. The current Fong Ping did not care if he was not a top-notch good thing. He could not be bothered with this cat. Fong Ping looked into the depths of the sea. There were many forces in this vast sea. Go left, Mount Wangu. Go right, Divine Sect. Go straight, Demon Court. Fong Ping murmured for a while. "Where should I go?" The cat looked at him doubtfully. Was it left and right? Which was left and which was right? No matter which direction it was, it felt that the swindler was pointing in the wrong direction. Other than the Divine Sect in the middle, the Royal House and the Divine Sect were pointing in the wrong direction, right? In the cat's doubt, the swindler seemed to have lost his sense of direction. A powerhouse who had broken 7 actually did not have this little ability. The cat felt very helpless. Would he get lost this time? Should I go to the Royal House? Now is not the time to fall out with the Divine Sect. Go to the Royal House and ask Moon Spirit about the North Emperor and say hello. Fong Ping muttered to himself for a while. Without another word, He quickly walked in the direction of the royal house. The cat just looked at him quietly. The cat did not remind him, because the cat suddenly thought Moon Spirit was so scary. She beat the cat every day. The big dog said that she won the fight. It was not the cat who said it. Why did she bully the cat every day? The swindler was going in the wrong direction now. It was good. It was not bad to go to the divine sect. Otherwise, if he went to the royal house, that crazy woman would beat him. The divine sect. The previous divine sect had long been destroyed. Now the divine sect was getting bigger and bigger. King Kuin and the others were still expanding this new continent. More and more people came to join King Kuin. The overseas immortal islands had almost all of them now. Until now, powerhouses who had broken 8 could really support a big force. Other than humans, only the divine sect and the catacombs had broken 8. Feng, Tianshun, and the others were very secretive. As for the Sea Protector, that fellow only recruited monsters. Those who were not monsters could only choose the divine sect. As for Chaos, they closed their doors and proclaimed themselves kings. It was a mess. There were no benefits. If they had nothing to do, they would go out and fight. Who would want to join that fellow? In the divine sect, King Kuin and King Qian were in seclusion. Now, King Jin was in charge of everything. In the temple, King Jin sat on the main seat. Since King Kuin and the others weren't here, King Jin was in charge for once. Below him, there were a few people sitting. All of them had a complicated expression. Some were hesitant, and some were helpless. King Jin looked at them and smiled. Tianji Kui died in battle today. You all have a grudge with the humans. The new heavenly court is also facing attacks from the humans. In this huge 3 realms, it won't be easy for the few sages to live freely. Tian Bai is also in the divine sect. Now, only the few of you are still alive out of the 36 sages in the 3 realms. Tianji's face was still pale. Last time he was seriously injured by Fong Ping and almost died. Luckily, the 2 remaining sages took him away and saved his life. At this moment, Tianji thought for a moment and sighed. Lord King Jin, the 3 realms are in chaos. Coming to the divine sect is the result of our discussion. But Tianji's face suddenly turned gloomy. Lord, I heard that King Kuin and the others are also recruiting Huaying. This must not happen. Huaying attacked Tianming and caused the defeat of the battle. King Jin smiled. Tianji, Tian Kui's death and the other sages' deaths weren't because of Huaying. At Huaying's level, it's normal for him to adapt to the situation and survive. Huaying wasn't accepted by the new heavenly court and fled to the bitter sea. If he can join the divine sect, it's a good thing that the divine sect has one more sage. It will strengthen the divine sect. Tianji and the other 2 sages were still unhappy. Of course, in reality, they had also run away that day. Tianji and Tian Bai wanted to stop them, but were beaten back. However, Tian Kui died in battle. They couldn't vent their anger on Fong Ping, so they could only blame King Huai. King Jin smiled again. Huaying is still useful. The previous misunderstanding isn't too big of a conflict. Someone let Huaying have an audience. Yes, Lord. Soon, someone answered and left. Not long after, King Huai bowed and walked in carefully. King Jin narrowed his eyes and looked at King Huai. What a humble person. Unfortunately, if he didn't kill Tianming, who would believe him? Now, who would believe that he was a coward and someone who bowed and scraped? In the past few years, other than Li Zhu, this person was the strongest among the strong practitioners that came out of the catacombs. A Sage Realm strong practitioner. The divine sect wanted to recruit King Huai. According to King Jin, Huaying wasn't a good person to recruit. Tianji had always wanted to kill him. If it wasn't for the threat from the human race, Tianji would have come to the divine sect to find him. Now, King Huai wanted to join the divine sect to avoid such a thing from happening. He wanted to find a backer. If it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have appeared. King Jin felt that it wasn't worth it to offend a heavenly king for a sage. Moreover, this person was sinister. In the end, Hong Kuin said, which strong practitioner isn't sinister, and King Qian agreed. King Jin was speechless. A person like Huai-ing might be more suitable for the current environment. Recruiting Huai-ing was also useful. 3 out of the 36 sages came this time. Including Huai-ing, there were a total of 4 sages. King Jin naturally had to personally welcome them and recruit them. Once the 4 sages arrived, the divine sect's strength would increase again. Suppressing his thoughts, King Jin was about to speak when King Huai bowed. "Greetings, Lord King, general greetings, ancient sages." Before they could react, King Huai immediately said, "I have pledged my allegiance to Lord Ming Wang. Lord Ming is under Lord King General. I have wanted to join the divine sect for a long time. I am also one of the 72 God messengers, true Lord Digo. This time, I came to the divine sect to return to the divine sect." King Jin was stunned. He didn't pay attention to it before. Now that he heard this, he finally understood. It seems so. This fellow pledged his allegiance to King Ming. In the end, King Ming died. In reality, he was still a true lord in the divine sect. King Jin was speechless. He felt unlucky. Whoever this fellow pledged his allegiance to would be unlucky. Hong Kuan should really reconsider. The other sages also looked on coldly from the side and didn't say anything. Seeing this, King Huai hurriedly smiled and said, "I had no choice but to sneak up on Lord Tianming. King Human is strong, and I was blackmailed by King Wu. I was afraid that King Li and Prince Yu would blame me, so I had no choice but to listen to them. Now that I have done what I wanted, I am not afraid that they will threaten me again. Therefore, I came to the divine sect this time because I really want a chance to establish myself in the 3 realms and not be oppressed by all sides." Oomph. Tianji and the others snorted coldly. Among the sages of the 3 realms, it was really hard to find a second sage like King Huai. He was a shameless person. King Huai didn't mind. He had the ability to turn a blind eye to others. These 3 were also at the sage realm. Not bad. If there was a chance, he would try to trick a few of them to death. Of course, he would only do it if there were benefits. If there were no benefits, then forget it. Although he was looked down on, he couldn't be bothered to be angry. There was no need. It was better to avoid trouble, not to mention this kind of meaningless thing. Seeing that they were not polite, King Huai was too lazy to say more. He lowered his head and smiled. "Lord, this time, I didn't come to the divine sect to ask for your protection. Since I am here, I will not let you protect me for nothing. Before I came here, I met Yuan Gang, who was severely injured and escaped. Yuan Gang met up with the 2 sages under the command of the human emperor again. The 3 sages were persuaded by me to join the divine sect. If you are willing, I'll try to win them over. I will strengthen the power of the divine sect and become the master of the 3 realms." King Jin was delighted, but he soon paused. The disciples of the human emperor were not easy to subdue. Not only that, Yuan Gang, this former marshal of the realm gate, King Jin suddenly felt awkward. Just like King Huai, they were both jinxes. The last time he was with Jiu Xian died. Last time, he was with another disciple of the human emperor, and that sage was killed. Now that they found 2 awakened ancient sages, King Jin suspected that these 2 ancient sages were going to die. Yuan Gang and Huai-ing were both jinxes, but the unlucky ones were always others. King Huai saw his hesitation and seemed to know something. He immediately said, "Lord, Yuan Gang and the others seem to want to go to the deep sea. When I invited them, they were a little secretive. Previously, when the human emperor came, although he left quickly, I was thinking if he had any orders to pass down. Did they go to find some fortuitous encounters left by the human emperor? Also, the patrol envoys. I've been wandering in the bitter sea these days. The forces that the patrol envoys are in seem to be preparing to go on a long journey." Hearing this, King Jin was slightly stunned. The human emperor left something behind? Patrol envoys. On the side of the patrol envoys, there were still 4 heavenly kings alive. Now, 1 was in the catacombs, 1 was on the Hydra Force God Island, and 2 were on the Medicine God Island. These people patrolled the 3 realms on behalf of the human emperor. When they descended, they probably didn't expect the 3 realms to be like this. 6 heavenly kings died at once, and the patrol continent sank. There were still people on it, but in the end, they were all dead. The last time they descended, was it to urge a ceasefire, or did they have other motives? Now, how many forces were in contact? He really didn't know about this. These few days, they didn't have the mood to pay attention to these things. Yesterday, the heaven-suppressing Heavenly King broke the 3 gates. Did Yuan Gang and the others say what they were looking for? Do they know where? I don't know. King Huai smiled. However, they don't have a Heavenly King in their group. I saw that they were hesitating, so I persuaded them to settle down in the divine sect first. Lord, King Kuan, and King Qian are all top experts. They are broad-minded. Even if there are benefits, they won't take it all for themselves. They will definitely give them some chances in case they end up empty-handed. Yuan Gang and the others probably have the same thoughts now. King Jin pondered. At this moment, a figure flashed. King Kuan said indifferently, "Digo, is what you said true? Greetings, Sect Master." This time, King Huai directly bowed and knelt down. King Kuan was indifferent. Perfected Lord Digo was a perfected lord that he had subdued in the past. He didn't expect him to have the strength of a sage now. It was beyond his expectations. King Kuan looked at him and said indifferently, "Since you have the strength of a sage, of the 3 sect protectors, Heaven Protector and Human Protector died in battle, you will become the Human Protector. I'm afraid." "There's no need to be afraid," King Kuan said indifferently. "Since you have this temperament and this strength, you deserve it. If you have the strength of a Heavenly King, you will also have a share in the divine sect. In the past, the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors ruled the 3 realms together. If the divine sect could really win, there would only be 3 kings now. 3 kings ruling the world is still incomparable to the past." King Kuan was also an ambitious person. He said again, the human sovereign might have other motives when he came previously. The patrols are not all dead. All of them appeared previously. I'm afraid it wasn't just to stop the war. Go, and tell Yuan Gang and the others to join the divine sect. If the benefits are enough, I can fight for the fortuitous opportunities for them. The fortuitous opportunities below Breaking 7 will belong to them. Those that are useful to me, King Qian, and King Jin will belong to us. They won't be able to keep such fortuitous opportunities. King Kuan's voice was indifferent, but it stirred up waves. The patrols were not weak. They had a few existences at Breaking 7. Could it be that these people had descended from the 9 heavens for the fortuitous opportunities below Heavenly King? That was impossible. The biggest possibility was that they wanted to break 8. Yes, to break 8. There was not a single cultivator at Breaking 8 among the patrols. It was very likely that Ji Yun, a disciple of the human sovereign, had descended to break 8. These people might also be waiting for the right time. Now that they had appeared, if a few of them directly broke 8, they would be truly incomparably powerful. Had Yuan Gang and the others received the human sovereign's instructions? Although King Kuan's words were overbearing, no one felt that it was inappropriate. The fortuitous opportunities below Heavenly King belonged to the sages. Only those that were useful to them belonged to King Kuan and the others. This was a good condition. Hearing this, King Huai immediately said, "Then I will go and inform them immediately. Yuan Gang and the others will not refuse." "Sect Master, I'll go now." "Go and return quickly," King Kuan replied. King Huai didn't dare to delay and left quickly. After he left, King Jin looked at him and said in a low voice, "Could it be a trap?" At their realm, normal treasured lands were useless. Not necessarily. Hong Kuan's eyes shone. The 3 realms is too big. Some places might be useful to us. You should break 7 as soon as possible. If you don't break 7 now, it will be too late. King Jin was slightly embarrassed. It was indeed embarrassing for him to break 6. King Qian also needs to break 8 as soon as possible. Otherwise, if 2 humans break 8, the new heavens Li Zhu and Palm Print have a chance to break 8 quickly. Once they succeed, we will be the weakest. That Jinhai fellow is stronger than me. King Qian and I have to work together to be able to defeat him. King Jin had a solemn expression. That was right. Although the divine sect seemed strong, they might not be as strong as the catacombs. Moreover, there was Chu Wu. King Qian had to break 8 as soon as possible. He had to break 7 as soon as he could. King Jin didn't say anything else. Huang came and offered him benefits. The previous grudges lessened a little. Chapter 1276. Deep in the sea, on a huge island with birds chirping and flowers blooming. It wasn't famous in the 3 realms. Medicine God Island, one of the 33 overseas immortal islands. After the Divine Emperor's reincarnation, they set up camp on Medicine God Island. A few days ago, Medicine God Island welcomed another group of experts. The first disciple of the Divine Emperor, and Sheng Hong, the first disciple of the Western Emperor. There was also Qing Tong, a sage from Weiyu Mountain who had just moved here. There was also a sage from the Divine Emperor's reincarnation, the Medicine God the Arch, and many true immortal experts. 2 heavenly kings. Such a force wasn't weak in the 3 realms. Plus, they were the disciples of the Emperor. However, most of the inspectors were killed in the previous battle. These people were very low-key and weren't as famous as the Divine Kingdom of Chaos. At this moment in a palace, Sheng Hong said bitterly, "Where did that bastard Tianji move the Western Emperor Palace to?" In the palace, several experts wanted to laugh, but were too embarrassed to do so. They really couldn't say anything. The first disciple of the Western Emperor Palace was no lower than Tianji, even though he was a prince. Plus, he was the disciple of the Western Emperor. It could be said that he was a natural ally of Tianji. But who would have thought that bastard Tianji would run away with the Western Emperor Palace? Sheng Hong was about to die of depression. What was the prince doing? Although he had offended the humans and the 3 realms, it was over after a group of people was killed. The 3 realms were used to this. The great battle descended, and the slaughter continued without end. After a great war, another war would definitely be for the sake of profit, and very few of them would be for the sake of revenge. The Western Emperor also had the Heavenly King, Sheng Nan, the sage, and many peak cultivators and thearchs. But where were they? Gone. Sheng Hong wanted to just kill Heaven's fate. He was also a young man. He was the first disciple of the Divine Emperor and had a high status. When Zhang Tiandi came to learn, he was already a disciple of the Divine Emperor. Over the years, breaking through the 7th level was not considered weak, and breaking through the 8th level was inhuman. This time, when the Inspector's faction arrived, such an unforeseen event had also exceeded his expectations. At this moment, hearing Sheng Hong's words, he also felt helpless. He sighed, "Since Heaven's fate is unwilling to stand out, then forget it. That won't do." Sheng Hong frowned and said, "He's a prince, and Master is still alive. Since that's the case, we can't leave His Highness out this time." But he disappeared. What can you do? He was also speechless. What could he do? Where can I dig him out? There was nothing he could do if he couldn't deliver the benefits that were delivered to his doorstep. Sheng Hong frowned and said, "On our side, there are 2 heavenly kings and 2 saints. They are not considered weak, but they are not too strong either." On the Hydra Divine Island, Yin Fei's strength was not considered strong. Even if he had become a Hydro Sage, it would not be a big deal. But Lu Shan went over to Hong Yu. Sheng Hong said in a low voice, "If the prince comes, including Sheng Nan, we will have 3 kings and 3 saints. Hong Yu will not dare to leave the Earth domain rashly. Otherwise, the human race will not sit by and watch. That way, they would at least be able to leave behind a level 7 breaker to oversee their territory. Even if Li Zhu and the Palm Seal Envoy stay, and Hong Yu comes alone, or if Hong Yu doesn't come and the Palm Seal Envoy comes, plus Lu Shan." Before Sheng Hong could finish, he understood what he meant and said slowly, "The Heaven's Pole Prince is the descendant of the Emperor. Since the Western Emperor is still here, I naturally hope that he can come. But like I said, he moved the Western Palace, so I can't do anything about it. After all, the Heaven's Pole ran away by itself. What can you do?" Sheng Hong felt a headache coming on and quickly said, "We can try look for him. The prince is hiding, but Sheng Nan is still here. I heard that he is patrolling the outside world, looking for the disciples of our bloodline to recover. We still have to look for him. This is a rare opportunity." He didn't say much and nodded slightly. Sheng Hong saw this and said, "What about the dragon transformation?" Back then, he studied under the Divine Emperor. Could it be that he has completely forgotten about the past? He sighed and said, "It's better not to tell the dragon transformation, in case the human race receives the news. Right now, only we know about this matter. It's a good thing that one less person knows about it." Among the experts of the human race, the heaven-suppressing king and the God-forging envoy are both extremely powerful. If the human race gets involved, the Earth domain will also get involved. Now that both sides are restraining each other, it will save us some trouble. Shenghong nodded. That was true. However, it was a pity that the dragon transformation also had the battle strength of a heavenly king. If it came, they would have a greater chance. As the two of them discussed, Saint Ching Tong bowed slightly and said, Uncle Master Hong, is the opportunity in the Tomb of Heaven?" "Not really." He smiled and said, "We have never been to that place, and we only know a little about it. It is near the Tomb of Heaven, or rather, the periphery, not the continent in the center of the Tomb of Heaven. There is some broken eight there. If it was there, we would not go there." Shenghong also said, "In the past, unquestionable Jian accidentally entered that place. If not for unquestionable Jian, the three realms would not have known that there was a secret place. Even the Emperor did not pay attention to it before. Even the Emperor does not know." Qing Tong hesitated and said, "Then the Emperor has never entered before?" "No." He shook his head slightly. "That place is very mysterious. Moreover, the Emperor could not descend before. So he has never been there. If he went, that place might be destroyed. All these years, only unquestionable Jian had been there. He was able to quickly reach the peak of Broken 7 because of this place. In the past, he was not very strong, but he obtained such an opportunity. If we enter, we might be able to break 8. You can also become a heavenly king. The Demon Emperor's land of opportunity." With that, everyone had no more doubts. The Demon Emperor was in existence at the peak of Broken 7. He rose up more than 2,000 years ago. In a short 2,000 years, he had broken 7 and was still at the peak. If not for his reincarnation, he might have broken 8. As for Li Zhu, it was because of the Palm Seal user. The Demon Emperor did not have a teacher at Broken 7 to teach him. The Demon Emperor's greatest opportunity was the Old Cat, and the Old Cat's greatest opportunity was the Tomb of Heaven. In the end, the Demon Emperor did not enter the depths of the Tomb of Heaven. Instead, he accidentally entered that place in the periphery. As a result, his strength improved by leaps and bounds, and he stood at the peak of the 3 realms. Now, the Demon Emperor had fallen, and probably not many people knew about that place. This time, the inspector's arrival was actually related to the Demon Emperor's fall. He was alive, and the inspector did not descend. He did not go there because he was still afraid of the Demon Emperor, afraid that he would cause trouble, until he died. Before the inspector came to the lower realm, he had 2 missions. First, to maintain the normal operation of the 3 realms. Second, to investigate this place. In the end, he had failed the first mission. He could try the second one now. Qing Tong thought about it and said, "There is movement in the Earth realm. The humans will not ignore it. I am worried that when the time comes, the various experts will gather again and fight." Qing Tong's master was a disciple of the Divine Emperor, but he had fallen and had not returned. It was likely that it would be difficult for him to return. He still valued Qing Tong. This was the leader of the Southern faction. His physical body was strong, and his mental energy was not weak either. He was not far from becoming a heavenly king. In the Divine Emperor's bloodline, he was a heavenly king, and so was Dragon Transformation. Zhang Tiandi was actually also a heavenly king. The next one to become a heavenly king was probably Qing Tong. He did not mind saying a few more words to an expert who was about to become a heavenly king. He smiled and said, "No matter. As long as we enter, although there will be danger, no one will dare to act rashly. That place, although I've not been there, I know a thing or two. If we go all out, it will easily collapse. Even breaking 8 realms may not be able to enter. When we enter, even if the humans and other powerhouses follow us in, they may not be able to gain any advantage." Qing Tong said again, "Master Uncle, Heavenly Dog and the others are nearby. Then, no matter, they still need to guard those beginner powerhouses. Even if they sense the movement, they will not come here easily. He smiled and said, Heavenly Dog was killed by them in the past. He will not let them go easily. Tianchen will also continue to suppress these few. He has his own reasons too. As for Sherpa, if the two of them do not come, even if he comes alone, he will not be able to gain any advantage. Qing Tong nodded and asked no more questions. All parties began to prepare again. At this moment, on the Forbidden Sea, Fong Ping was still strolling around. This sea was too big. Fong Ping felt a little strange and asked, Big Cat, Big Tiger, where do you think the end of this sea of suffering is? I don't know. The cat, who was called Big Tiger, almost could not react. It was a little depressed. It was not a tiger. It was a cat. Has no one reached the end before? I don't know. What do you know? I don't know. Are you a stupid cat? No. The cat patted Fong Ping's head with its paw, its tail sweeping his ear. It looked indignant. I want to eat. If I don't eat now, it's not good for my stomach. Fong Ping sighed. Not good for your stomach? Do you even have that thing? Even if you don't eat for 10,000 years, you won't starve to death. Are you crazy? You want to eat all the time. What do you want to do? Helpless, Fong Ping began to work. Barbecue. He did not lack materials. He had killed the Overlord-level Whale Unicorn, killed the Overlord-level Myriad Demon King. These fellows' bodies had become ingredients. However, Fong Ping still looked around and whispered, You can eat, but keep a close eye on them. It's not like there is no one to care about the demons now. That person said before, If you come to the sea again, he will kill you. Be careful, don't get discovered. The cat curled its lips. He was not afraid of it. What was the big fish so arrogant about? I'm not afraid of it. It's broken 8, and it's not the kind that just broke 8. It's ranked high after breaking 8. Oh, you can hit it? Fong Ping rolled his eyes. Could he beat it? If he beat it, he would be beaten by it. The cat did not care about it. Seeing that Fong Ping had stopped and started grilling, it lay on the side happily, waiting to eat. While Fong Ping was grilling the dragon leg, he asked, Haven't you finished the last bit of expansion of your cat world? I don't know. Fong Ping really wanted to smack this cat to death. What did it know? How much more? So much. The cat stretched out its paw and measured the dragon leg. Fong Ping glanced at it, nodded and said, Not bad, about 3 meters. Big cat, work harder. If you succeed this time, you'll be a powerhouse close to breaking 7, maybe even breaking 7 directly. The cat's basic vitality was close to 4 million calories. It would increase again after breaking through. If there was another qualitative change, it might reach up to 10 million. 10 million? That would be breaking 7. A cat with a physique of breaking 7. That would be very scary. Oh, the cat did not care much about this. It muttered, You've broken 7. Why do you still need a cat to break 7? Previously, Fong Ping was too weak. It was afraid of being beaten to death, so it worked hard to cultivate for a few days, maybe a few hours. After that, Fong Ping became stronger, and now he had broken 7. The cat had lost all motivation and was too lazy to cultivate recently. It was enough for a liar to become stronger. Why did it have to tire itself out? Fong Ping was exhausted. You're just a cat. If you're a human, and one of us, I'll slap you to death. He did not know how lucky he was. He could have broken 7 quickly, but he had been slacking off for 3 days and drying his net for 2 days. No, he had been slacking off for 10,000 years. The cat could not be bothered to listen to his nagging. I'm not a human. Your assumptions are useless. Even if I'm envious, it's useless. A cat is a cat. Why think so much? Staring at the dragon leg, the cat was almost drooling. It looked delicious at first glance. However, when it saw that Fong Ping was about to stop, the cat immediately said, Wait. Having said that, a bunch of seasonings appeared in its paw. Cumin. The cat swallowed its saliva and said, It'll taste better with some spices. Fong Ping was too lazy to pay attention to it. So many requests. Do you think I'm a chef? However, when he saw this stupid cat take out a small silver knife and fork, Fong Ping was surprised and stared at the cat for a while. The cat raised its head, its face blank. Why are you looking at me? You? This is a demigod weapon? The cat was dumbfounded. It quickly put away the knife and fork as if it had never been taken out. It lowered its head and started eating. Oh no! It had forgotten about this. The cat was miserable. It lowered its head and ate quietly. The cat's inventory was empty. Even the liar wanted to snatch the last reserve. It did not want to live anymore. Fong Ping could not help but laugh. I didn't want it. I'm not interested in demigod weapons. The cat muttered for a while and continued to eat quietly. Fong Ping also started eating. It would be a waste not to eat. As he was eating, Fong Ping suddenly raised his head, looking surprised. Why is this guy here? I thought Mount Wangwu doesn't accept men? He actually dares to wander around Wangwu. Isn't he afraid that the moon spirit will strike him to death? Yes, King Huai. He sensed King Huai's aura. This guy was very bold. Not far ahead was Mount Wangwu, right? This guy appeared here. Wasn't he afraid that the moon spirit would strike? Moon spirit was still polite to Fong Ping and old Zhang, but to other men, she was not very polite. It was a little like Spirit Emperor, taking revenge on society when she saw a man. Fong Ping felt strange. In the distance, King Huai also slowed down. Who is it? King Huai sensed an aura. It was probably Emperor-level strength. At this moment, King Huai also quickly released his mentality, spreading out. He did not know. Could it be a revived Emperor level? There were not many revived Emperor levels. Most of them were saints, but there were still some. He did not know that person. King Huai frowned slightly. Where did this person come from? Soon he saw a little tiger beside that person. King Huai frowned again. Mount? Revived powerhouses had mounts? Or was it just subdued for transportation? Right? What were this man and tiger eating? Also, the king character on the little tiger's head looked a little awkward. It felt crooked and not right. King Huai continued to investigate. In the next second, King Huai's face stiffened. Emperor level. F*CKU. Mother Ker. Why did this jinx appear again? Didn't they just finish fighting? Why was it here again? Don't ask him how he recognized it. Although Fong Ping had changed his appearance, but King Huai, recognized the leg they were eating. Wasn't this the myriad demon king? Fong Ping the cat. King Huai's head hurt. What kind of luck was this? He had run deep into misery, and he could still meet this. Was there any justice in this world? In the past, Fong Ping ran around alone, and now he even brought a cat along. King Huai's face stiffened, but it quickly returned to normal. His heart moved slightly. Maybe it was not a bad thing. He went to the divine sect, not simply to avoid Tianji's pursuit. It was true that he met Yuan Gang and the others, and he saw that they had a purpose. Unfortunately, Yuan Gang and the others did not trust him. The benefits were not small, but they did not dare to go. He thought for a long time, if he pulled a few people to the divine sect, he might be able to get some benefits. He did not look for Fong Ping because Fong Ping was too independent. He might not even leave any leftovers. However, since he had met him, there was still hope. It was still possible to pull chestnuts out of the fire. Thinking of this, King Huai stopped running. The next moment, he laughed heartily and said, "Isn't this Brother Ox? Brother Ox used to dominate a part of the sea. I thought Brother Ox would never leave Divine Ox Island in this life. I didn't expect you to come out." Fong Ping raised his head and looked at him, his face blank. Had you seen me become like this? Was there really such a person? I just casually transformed. In the distance, King Huai came over in the air, laughing. Brother Ox, what a coincidence. Could it be that your Divine Ox Island was affected by the war and sank? Sigh, this 3 realms is in chaos. When I saw Brother Ox in the past, I even asked Brother Ox why you did not leave Divine Ox Island. At that time, I thought that a true king was invincible. Only today did I understand that a true king is also just an ant. How sad, how lamentable. Fong Ping glanced at him. This guy, did he recognize the wrong person? But they were all saints. It was not to this extent. When he saw the smile in King Huai's eyes, and there was a hint of flattery, Fong Ping instantly understood. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly. The moment he arrived, he gave me an identity. Are you trying to do something bad? He recognized him. This was nothing. Fong Ping was not afraid of his identity being exposed. But the moment King Huai came, he gave him an identity. From what he heard, he was the owner of an unknown island in the Forbidden Sea, and he knew him. There were not many large islands in the Forbidden Sea, but there were many small ones. In the coastal area, there were also some islands occupied by the Demon Clan, known as the Demon Clan's Forbidden Area. As for whether there were humans occupying them, Fong Ping was not sure. He did not seem to have encountered it. Maybe there were. After all, he was a hermit expert. King Huai created an identity for himself in an instant. There must be a purpose. Fong Ping laughed. King Huai, long time no see. I didn't expect to meet you here. He quickly investigated in secret and did not find anyone following him. But there was something strange. Maybe someone was watching King Huai. King Huai laughed. Brother Ox, what a coincidence. Did you come here to seek refuge with King Kuan and the others? King Kuan? Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. Soon, he glanced at the cat. The cat did not say a word and continued to eat. Don't ask me. You went the wrong way. I forgot to tell you. Fong Ping understood now. He did not know whether to laugh or cry. He went the wrong way? This was near the divine sect? King Huai, this old schemer, was not weak. He had sneaked into the divine sect again. It seemed like he wanted to go to the dark god sect again. He had guts. He dared to provoke someone with a broken 8. King Huai quickly came over, his mentality fluctuating. He said telepathically, Lord Human King, please forgive me. I don't know if there is anyone monitoring this area. Fong Ping was speechless. How polite. In the past, King Huai was extremely arrogant. This guy was so good at pretending to be a grandson and a master. How did he get in? He could pretend to be a master, but he was not good at pretending to be a grandson. Sometimes he could not help it. Tell me, what are the benefits? Fong Ping asked directly. Lord, you are straightforward. King Huai laughed. Yuan Gang brought 2 saints under the emperor to live in the Western Sea. He wanted to go deep, but did not dare. I suspect there are benefits. Over at Medicine God Island, the 2 patrolmen seem to be moving. Emperor Nan, the chief of Hydro God Island, is also moving. It seems like they're preparing for a long journey. King Kuan said to recruit the 3 saints under the emperor, probably because he felt that there were benefits. Lord, you came at the right time. At this moment, you are pretending to be the island master of Ox God Island. Maybe you can enter the divine sect and go together. I will be your guarantor. If you get the benefits, if it is only useful to the heavenly king, I will not take a single cent. If it is useful to the saints, you can just give me some food. Fong Ping glanced at him and smiled faintly. You are bold. Aren't you afraid that Hong Kuan will punish you after this? King Huai laughed. If many people die, or if the person you are pretending to be dies, then there is naturally not much problem. It may not be exposed. If it is really exposed, I have thought about it and will go to the Demon Emperor. The demons also hope that the Demon Core will unify the 3 realms, but no human powerhouse is willing to go. I am not talented, but I will take the lead and set an example. Even if the Demon Emperor knows that I have a bad reputation, he will still give me 1,000 gold bones. Fong Ping almost gave him a thumbs up. This guy was good, shameless, sinister, and smart. To go to the Sea Guardian, he was really good. Did the Sea Guardian really only want to rule the demons? If so, he did not even want the 9 Emperor seal. The Beast Emperor staff would do. However, he wanted the 9 Emperor seal, which meant that he was still ambitious. If a saint came to join, even if his reputation was bad, it did not matter. It was just a facade. Moreover, the Sea Guardian would give him benefits and protect him, lest he was killed and others would not dare to join the demon court again. Interesting. Fong Ping laughed. However, I don't care about ordinary benefits. I may not need those things now, sir. You are wrong. King Huai hurriedly said, since the patrol is tempted, it means that it is possible to help them break 8. No matter how powerful you are, you should not have broken 8 now. If you succeed, you will definitely gain something. That seems to make some sense. Fong Ping laughed. But how can you guarantee that I can blend in? I only have Emperor-level strength now. Don't worry, sir. I have investigated previously. Emperor levels are also preparing. The catacombs and Medicine God Island are also preparing, including some peak. In my opinion, this opportunity may not be purely based on strength. There are also benefits when there are more people. If that is the case, sir, join the divine sect and be used as a pathfinder to go to the place of opportunity. The chances are very high. As he said that, he added, Sir, why don't you come with me to meet Yuan Gang and the others first and enter the divine sect with them? Yuan Gang and the others will not be completely at ease with the divine sect. They are all saints, sir, and you are only emperor level. In this way, they will not be too wary of you. If there is a crisis, I can let you die for me, sir, and you will not be able to resist if they ask you to go with them. King Kuan will not refuse. Fong Ping laughed. This guy had already thought of a plan. His brain was really flexible. Yuan Gang, I didn't kill him twice. His luck is not bad. Fong Ping laughed. That's good. It just so happens that I have no target. Since we met, let's go together. King Huai, you won't betray me, will you? He smiled brightly. King Huai said awkwardly, How would I dare? Sir, your strength is powerful. How would I dare? You are not even afraid of Hong Kuan. Will you be afraid of me? Sir, you worry too much. King Huai's face was bitter. He was not afraid of Hong Kuan because he felt that if he surrendered to the Sea Guardian, Hong Kuan would not start a war with the Sea Guardian for an insignificant person like him. If he offended Fong Ping, he was too lazy to think about it. Needless to ask, Fong Ping was a vengeful fellow. He must be thinking about killing him every day, the kind that would not stop until he was dead. It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Hong Kuan was not considered a gentleman, but speaking of which, if Fong Ping really had the bearing of a powerhouse, he would dare to offend him. Fong Ping. Forget it. He was a villain through and through. King Huai was really a little afraid. Fong Ping laughed and pinched the cat in his hand. He laughed and said, Hurry up and transform. One look at this gluttonous look, and it's no doubt a cat. Stop eating, go and fish for benefits. Meow. Whoa. The cat cried out. It was also very excited. Is there something delicious to eat? Of course there is. It's fine even if there's nothing delicious. Later, when King Huai goes to the Sea Guardian, I'll find a chance to let him trick the Sea Guardian to death. Let's go eat fish. King Huai was tired. Was it really okay for you to say that? I haven't even surrendered yet, and you're already eyeing my next home. But then again, if I trick the Sea Guardian to death, can I get any benefits? If the benefits are big enough, it is not necessarily impossible to try. Chapter 1277. Since he had met King Huai, Fong Ping did not mind hanging out with him for a while. Soon, 2 people and a cat went to find Yuan Gang and the others. Fong Ping was also interested in Yuan Gang. This marshal in white was not weak. The key was not his strength, but his ability to survive. So many saints were killed last time, but Yuan Gang did not die. That fellow had self-destructed everything and escaped with a wisp of mentality. Fong Ping did not expect it to recover so quickly. It was still somewhat beyond his expectations. From this point of view, there might be someone behind Yuan Gang. If the 2 saints had just revived, they would definitely not have the resources to help Yuan Gang recover. Yuan Gang either hid something good himself, or there was a powerhouse behind him. Not only that, Yuan Gang should know a lot of things too. Previously, when Zhou Xian was killed, he said that he could tell Fong Ping where the Emperor's sword was. It seemed that Zhou Xian was not talking nonsense. He might have known that the Emperor's sword was on Earth. If Zhou Xian knew, Yuan Gang probably knew too. Fong Ping did not hate Yuan Gang. It was just that they were on different sides. However, this guy's ability to cheat his teammates was really not weak. In the sea, on an uninhabited island, in the Forbidden Sea, there were many such small island fragments. They were all fragments of the heavenly realm in the past. At this moment, 3 people were sitting cross-legged on the island. Yuan Gang was still dressed in white, a man and a woman sitting cross-legged beside him. The man was young, the woman was beautiful, but from their eyes, it could be seen that they were not really young. At this moment, the only woman among the 3 suddenly said softly, Brother Yuan, Are you really going to submit to King Kuin and the others? Yuan Gang opened his eyes and sighed softly. Eldest brother was killed as soon as he arrived. In our line, many of our brothers were also killed. Among the patrols, among the 8 saints who died, one of them was from the Emperor's line. In addition to Zhou Xian and the one he brought last time, the Emperor's line had suffered heavy losses. One of the 7 heavenly kings and 3 saints had fallen. Such losses were incomparably heavy. Now, the Emperor's forces had also suffered heavy losses. At this moment, no one had revived. Only the 3 saints were still alive. When Yuan Gang said this, the woman gritted her teeth. Fong Ping. Their line had suffered such heavy losses, and it was really Fong Ping's fault. In particular, Ji Yun's death made them feel even more helpless. Yuan Gang raised his hand and shook his head, saying, Yuping, trouble comes from the mouth. The humans are extremely hostile to us. Don't mention anything about Fong Ping again. The woman said indignantly, This is misery. This devil Fong Ping killed eldest senior brother. Are we not even allowed to talk about it? Senior brother Yuan, you're a disciple of the monarch faction. So why would you be afraid of that demon? Yuan Gang smiled bitterly and said helplessly, Junior sister, you'd better wake up a little. The 3 realms have long since gone mad. Don't even talk about the disciples. When Master personally came, didn't he? He didn't want to say anything else. Junior sister had just recovered, so she might still be immersed in the glory of the past. However, things were different now. In the past, the Emperor's disciples enjoyed a high status. But today he had to be careful. Heaven's fate was now afraid of getting involved with the Emperor's disciples, even if he was the Emperor's son, including Moon Spirit. These descendants of the Emperors did not dare to mention these things. There was no other reason than that he was not strong enough and was in danger. King Kuin was slightly better, as he was in existence with a broken 8. Which of the other descendants of the Emperors would dare to rashly mention this? They had all gone mad. Previously, of the 10 heavenly kings of the patrolman's faction, 4 of them were at level 7. They were unbelievably powerful. In the blink of an eye, it was gone. The remaining 4 were the chief disciples of the North Emperor and the West Emperor. Now they had homes and couldn't go back. Moon Spirit and Celestial Pole wouldn't accept them. The human emperor had come in person, but he was disgraced by the 3 realms and had to leave in a sorry state. He didn't even give face to the emperor, so why would he care about the emperor's followers? He wasn't even a heavenly king, so he shouldn't be arrogant in the 3 realms. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died. This was the conclusion that Yuan Gang had reached after escaping death several times. He shouldn't put on any airs as a sovereign follower anymore. Don't think that sages are amazing. Sages were very impressive. In ancient times, sages were overlords of a region. Even emperors were considered experts of a region. But now, it wasn't that there were more sages, but rather that there were more heavenly kings. The 3 realms had gone mad, and they didn't hesitate to kill the heavenly kings and sages. The woman was able to cultivate to the saint realm, so she was not an idiot. However, this feeling of disparity was really hard to accept. The others who had lived until now had lived 8,000 years longer than them. They had experienced it bit by bit before they could barely adapt. When they had just been revived, the emperor was still the ruler of the 3 realms. Who in the 3 realms didn't give face to the disciples of the 9 sovereigns? Now that they had suddenly revived, they suddenly found that the emperor's followers were actually being shouted at by everyone. It had to be said that this disparity was too great. The young man next to Yuan Gang also felt a little uncomfortable, but he still changed the topic and said, Senior brother Yuan, working with King Kuin is like asking a tiger for its skin. If the earthly sovereign is completely destroyed, the divine sect can't stay for long. Yuan Gang nodded. When the emperor comes to the 3 realms, if the earthly sovereign can't be revived, the divine sect will naturally not be a good place to stay. However, when the emperor comes, Master will also return, so it doesn't matter. Now, borrowing the power of the divine sect to protect ourselves is also beneficial. The 2 people next to him looked at each other and nodded slightly. Before the emperor came, seeking protection from King Kuin might be a way out. Otherwise, the humans were quite hostile to them now. Although the three sages weren't weak, they still had to be careful of being killed by human experts. Yuan Gang then said, "Be careful of Huaying. Don't have too much contact with him. Just use his name to reach an agreement with King Kuan and the others. Contact this person less in the future. This person is sinister. Don't be careless." The woman frowned. "Huaying, I think his strength is just entering the Saint Realm." Yuan Gang was helpless. This was not a problem of strength. It was a problem of the other party's temperament. A sage who could stab you in the back at any time, even if his strength was not as strong as you still had to be careful. As they spoke, Yuan Gang's eyes moved, and soon he frowned slightly. "There are others. Junior brothers and junior sisters don't say much later. Senior brother will contact Huaying." The two nodded. They didn't know much about the current situation in the three realms. Yuan Gang was revived first, so it was good for him to contact him. "Greetings, Marshal Yuan." King Huai greeted him from afar. Fong Ping also bowed slightly and didn't say much. Yuan Gang also stood up. With a smile on his face, he said gently, "Brother Huai, you're too polite. We're both saints. You could just call us brothers." After saying that, he looked at Fong Ping with a questioning look. As for the little tiger on Fong Ping's shoulder, Yuan Gang glanced at it and didn't pay much attention. Its strength was not too strong, just average. Many powerhouses also liked to raise these demons. Some used them as mounts, some as pets, and some simply raised them to kill and eat. "Marshal, this is Venerable Emperor Niu Meng of Ox God Island. Brother Niu used to have a dwelling in the North Sea and ruled over a part of the world. Unfortunately, the previous few battles affected Ox God Island, and it sank. Brother Niu had to leave the mountain and wanted to seek refuge with the divine sect. Coincidentally, we met. Greetings, fellow Taoist." Yuan Gang nodded slightly and smiled. His attitude was rather humble. Fong Ping also hurriedly said, "Greetings, Marshal. This is also my first time leaving Ox God Island, and I only know a little about the history of the three realms. I don't know about your reputations. Please forgive me for my neglect." Fellow Niu must be joking. Ancient history, Yuan Gang sighed softly. The ancient history of the three realms did have records of them. But so what? Didn't you see that King Can and King Dui, these famous 8 kings, died just like that? The divine weapon masters with the greatest authority under the ancient celestial court also died just like that. Compared to these people, the few of them were insignificant. The aura that Fong Ping revealed now was only at emperor level, but Yuan Gang didn't underestimate him. The difference between an emperor-level powerhouse and a saint-level powerhouse wasn't too big. Moreover, these people only rose after the heaven realm was destroyed. It was already not bad for them to reach emperor level. He had never seen Niu Meng before, so naturally, he was a newcomer to the three realms. The three realms was very big, and he had just revived not long ago. Although he didn't know where Ox God Island was, he didn't think too much about it. As for Fong Ping's disguise, at this moment, who would have thought that Fong Ping would come out again after a few days of rest? It really had only been a few days since the battle to kill the emperor. Previously, something big happened in the human world again. It was said that Fong Ping got into some trouble, but Yuan Gang hadn't thought about it yet. Yuan Gang didn't say much and smiled. These two are from the same sect. Yuping, 8 eyes. Fong Ping hurriedly bowed. "Greetings, seniors." The two nodded slightly and didn't talk much with him. Instead, they looked at King Huai. Although emperor level was not weak, both of them were saint level, so it was natural that they looked down on King Huai. King Huai was a saint level, so they needed to pay attention to him. King Huai didn't dare to be arrogant. He hurriedly smiled and said, "I've already met Lord Sect Leader, and General Lord Sect Leader can't wait for you seniors to join the Divine Sect." Yuan Gang glanced at Fong Ping and smiled. "That's also our honor. Lord Kuan can take in people like us who are down and out." After praising King Kuan, Yuan Gang looked at Fong Ping again. He hesitated for a moment and didn't hide anything. He smiled and said, "Then did Lord Kuan mention what I said before?" "He did." King Huai immediately said, What Lord Sect Leader means is that whatever is useful to the three of them belongs to them. As for the rest, the three marshals can take it themselves. Lord Sect Leader's words carry weight. He will never go back on his words for some resources that he can't use. This was something Yuan Gang believed. Powerhouses also had the dignity of powerhouses. Since King Kuan said that they wouldn't take what they didn't need, then they definitely wouldn't. If he really did that, his reputation would be tarnished. If it was really tarnished, the divine sect would probably completely lose people's support. Yuan Gang wasn't very clear about that side. In addition, there were several forces where the inspectors were. Yuan Gang was also prepared. At this moment, he smiled and said, "Then I'll have to trouble Brother Huai. There's no time to lose. Since Lord Kuan is willing to accept us, why don't we set off for the divine sect now?" Beside him, Fong Ping suddenly said, "Brother Huai, there are so many saint-level seniors in the divine sect now. I'm only at the emperor level." King Huai smiled. "Brother Nyo, there's no need to be like this. The divine sect is a place where all rivers run into the sea. Moreover, Brother Nyo has cultivated for less than 3,000 years. Yet you can become a venerable emperor. Lord Sect Leader also likes to recruit talented venerable emperors like Brother Nyo." Upon hearing that Fong Ping had cultivated for less than 3,000 years, the three saints looked at him again. They knew that Nyo Ming was not old, but he was indeed a genius for less than 3,000 years. Of course, there were still many emperor-level seniors. The leaders of the catacombs had cultivated for less than 3,000 years. Needless to say, it was the same for the humans. Reaching the emperor level in 3,000 years was considered a genius, but it was not unique. However, the saints were still a little more polite. These people might not be far from becoming saints. Hearing that, Fong Ping seemed to be relieved. He smiled and said, "Then I'll have to trouble Brother Huai. I'm not very familiar with the powerhouses of the three realms. I'm afraid that the Lords Kuan and the others will overlook me if I join the divine sect rashly. I'm on the verge of advancing now. I still hope to get pointers from the Lords Kuan and the others." King Huai smiled. Of course, Brother Nyo can rest assured. As the two talked, Yuan Gang did not interrupt. He glanced at Fong Ping again. About to advance to a saint level? That was not considered weak. He did not speak, but Yu Ping, who was beside him, smiled and said, "Is this the demon mount that Lord Nyo raised?" Although she was not young and had cultivated for a long time, seeing the dignified little tiger squatting on Fong Ping's shoulder and looking around, Yu Ping was a little interested. Fong Ping hurriedly smiled. "Senior must be joking. This little tiger is the only life form of my deity Ox Island. When the deity Ox Island was destroyed, only this little tiger was lucky enough to escape. I felt pity for it and brought it along with me." Yu Ping nodded slightly and did not mention anything about taking it away. A rank 9 demon was nothing, since Nyo Ming said that it was the only living creature on divine Ox Island besides him. She did not bother to mention it again. Previously, she had some thoughts about it, but for such a small matter, there was no need to offend a venerable emperor who was about to advance. She did not say anything. The other powerhouse, who was called Eight-Eyed, suddenly looked at the cat with his eyes shining. The cat looked at him blankly, but he transmitted his voice to Fong Ping. "I know this guy. The eight-eyed monster under the old man emperor has 8 eyes and can see through many things. Liar, be careful. He might be able to see through you." Fong Ping was slightly shocked. Could he see through me? He could disguise his aura, and even a broken 8 couldn't see through him. Could this person? Not necessarily. Anyway, he is very powerful. In the past, when I stole from the royal family's vegetable garden, it was this bad guy who discovered me many times. It and the Heavenly Hound had caused trouble to the Emperor many times. Sometimes when the Emperor was not around, someone else would take care of it. The eight-eyed saint often patrolled the palace with his 8 eyes, and he had discovered the cat and the Heavenly Hound several times. However, the current Ash Cat's mental strength was very strong. It was not something that ordinary people could see through the Ash Cat. The eight-eyed saint glanced at it and did not suspect anything. He glanced at it and said indifferently, "This tiger should be a descendant of the ancient demon clan. It has a good aptitude and strong chi and blood. Fellow Nyo, you can train it a little more. Thank you for your advice, senior. They chatted as they walked, and it was quite harmonious. Fong Ping was neither servile nor overbearing. After all, he was a venerable emperor, an island owner, and a powerhouse who had been the master of a forbidden area. He did not bow and scrape like King Huai. His performance made Yuan Gang and the others look at him in a higher light. Toward King Huai, they were vigilant and contemptuous. They were vigilant against his strength and ruthlessness. King Huai, who had already exposed his true colors, was still pretending to be kind and innocent, which would only make people more vigilant and disgusted. King Huai did not care. This time, he was not the main character. It was quite good. These people were vigilant against him and focused their attention on him, which made it easy for them to get closer to Fong Ping. They might even want to subdue Fong Ping and let him enter the emperor's bloodline. This possibility was not small. He was a saint who was about to prove his way, and he was not old. He was considered a genius martial artist, and the emperor's bloodline was still there. It was completely understandable that he wanted to subdue Fong Ping. As they chatted, Fong Ping sighed. The three realms are in chaos, and all the chaos is caused by King Fong Ping. I did not hate King Fong. He was talented, unparalleled in combat, and fought for the human race everywhere. If so, I would also respect him as a man, but now the battles are endless. Fong Ping is narrow-minded and only cares about the life and death of the human race, but not the other races. Our Ox God Island has never been enemies with the human race, but this time, we suffered an undeserved disaster. Because of Fong Ping, Ox God Island was destroyed. It is hard to hate, but hard not to hate. Fong Ping sighed and said helplessly, "This time, I came to the divine sect with the intention of revenge. But thinking about the strength of King Ping, revenge is just seeking death. Now, I hope that the three realms can be more peaceful. Why keep on fighting?" Hearing him say this, Yuan Gang laughed. King Fong Ping is indeed worthy of admiration, but Brother Nyo is also right. Fong Ping is too stubborn. Black and white. Apart from the human race, the three realms are all enemies. Brother Nyo, who does not care about worldly affairs. Even powerhouses who cultivate in seclusion overseas are disturbed. Fong Ping has unintentionally offended many powerhouses in the three realms. Fong Ping smiled bitterly. That's right, but King Ping is too strong, so I can only accept it. Brother Huai, I still feel a little uneasy. If I go to the divine sect, will the divine sect have a conflict with King Ping? King Huai laughed. Definitely not in the short term. As for the long term, Brother Nyo, it will also be a confrontation between powerhouses. We have not reached that realm yet, so we can deal with the current situation. That's the only way. Fong Ping nodded and took the initiative to mention his name. His feelings were complicated, but his performance was also remarkable. Acting, he was quite good at it. When it came to disguise, many people would rather not mention their real identity and deliberately avoid it, but he would not do so. The more he did so, the more guilty he felt. Only a thief would feel guilty. Fong Ping was not a thief. It was King Huai who invited him, so he did not need to feel guilty. The divine sect. In the main hall of the divine courtyard, King Kuin's eyes moved slightly, and soon he laughed. Digo is really good at talking. Not only did he recruit Yuan Gang and the other two, but he also recruited a genius, venerable emperor. Today is a happy day for the divine sect. In one day, 7 saints and 1 emperor joined the divine sect. No matter what their intentions were, the growth of their strength was real. 7 saints was not a small number. Moreover, there was a sage-to-be who was about to become a saint. This was comparable to the combat power of 2 heavenly kings. King Kuin was quite happy. Saints were the reserves for heavenly kings. There were many saints in the new heavenly court before, but Fong Ping killed more than half of them. Now, there were only 4 saints alive, including Tianji, who had broken through to the heavenly king realm. On the divine sect side, there were very few saints. Many of them were killed, and only Tianbai was alive. Now, there were 7 more saints, and their strength increased sharply. 3 kings and 8 saints, such strength was not much weaker than the human race. King Jin also nodded slightly and smiled. He is good at talking, but King Jin chuckled again. But this person is too patient. It's fine if he doesn't gain power, but once he does, he will definitely rebel. King Kuan did not care too much. Other than the human race, the 3 realms were all the same. With strength, King Huai would definitely not be willing to be someone's dog. The others were the same. If they were really strong, who would be willing to be someone's dog? As they spoke, they arrived. In the main hall, King Huai bowed as soon as he arrived. Fong Ping did not kneel. He bowed, and the other 3 saints did the same. They did not even look at King Huai. In the past, the saints had become the emperor's disciples, so it was fine not to kneel. Hong Kuan was not an emperor yet, so there was no need for him to kneel. King Kuan naturally did not mind this. With a smile, he said, "Today is a joyous occasion. The few marshals and ancient saints of the Realm Gate have come to the divine sect. Your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. Tonight, the divine sect will hold a banquet to welcome all of you." King Kuan was also a decisive person. He did not ask much and directly recruited the few people. There was no need for any test, and there was no need for it. 7 saints and a venerable emperor. No matter what intentions they had, he was confident that he could control them. With these people, the divine sect's power would be even stronger. King Kuan chatted with a few people for a while. Without any nonsense, he directly chatted with Yuan Gang. As the 2 of them chatted, everyone could only see their lips moving, but they could not hear their voices. The ears of the cat lying on Fong Ping's shoulder pricked up slightly. Very quickly it landed. At this moment, it was also transmitting its voice to Fong Ping. "Liar, the one in white said that there is still a secret land in the 3 realms that no one has explored." It was the news that the old emperor brought from the lower realm and passed to the inspector. However, after Ji Yun died, he also received the news. The 2 of them were communicating while the cat was eavesdropping. This guy's mentality was very strong. Even King Kuan, who had broken through 8, would not be able to stop him because he did not have mentality. The cat usually could not be bothered to listen to these things, but now it was paying attention. Fong Ping said that after defeating King Kuan, they would catch the big fish. The cat was still interested in the big fish. After the cat talked for a while, Fong Ping knew a lot. The inspectors all knew about this. However, in the end, the cat was a little strange. Its voice transmission became strange. "Liar, the one in white said that that place seems to be the place that Little Sword went into back then." Fong Ping was stunned. Unquestionable Sword's opportunity? Didn't Unquestionable Sword get the opportunity in the Sky Cemetery? Could it be the Sky Cemetery? That could not be right. Old Zhang mentioned to him before that King Kuan and the others went to a secret land. After all, he was the King Kuan. These people left no matter what they should tell Fong Ping. Could it be that it was that place? Fong Ping suddenly felt a little disappointed. Was there anything good in that place? The Sky Garrison King and the others also knew about it, but they did not go. Only King Kuan and the others went. It might not be useful to break through 8. However, after thinking about it, the emperor had passed the news and let the inspectors go. Maybe it was really different. The Sky Garrison King and the others did not go, not because they did not want to go, but because they could not go. Since I'm already here, I'll just take things as they come. Fong Ping did not know where the opportunity was now. Since everyone was so interested, he would join in the fun. Maybe he could also go and see King Kuan and the others. Not only King Kuan, Fong Ping glanced at Tianbai. He still had a saint token. Today, he was only missing 2 saint tokens and 2 heavenly king seals. They were all with the divine sect. This time, he might have a chance to collect all the saint tokens. As for the heavenly king seals, it was not easy. Chapter 1278. In the temple, King Kuan and Yuan Gang conversed for a while and discussed some conditions. Soon, King Kuan no longer blocked the news and said, "Summon all martial artists above the true god realm into the palace." Experts were all very decisive and straightforward. Since there was a chance, no one would give it up. Knowing this, King Kuan no longer hesitated. It was time to act. Soon a large number of experts entered. This time, Fong Ping had truly witnessed the strength of the divine sect. Not to mention the 3 heavenly kings, there were 8 saint-level powerhouses. Other than that, there were 6 venerable emperors, not including Fong Ping. Fong Ping knew a few venerable emperors. When he impersonated Yuan Sheng, he came from Guardian Shui's sect. Guardian Shui was Venerable Emperor Sky Cloud. Among the remaining 5 venerable sovereigns, there were venerable sovereigns from the human realm upon heavens and venerable sovereigns from overseas immortal islands. The forces of the overseas immortal islands and the sky beyond heavens were now divided among the various parties. 3 kings, 8 saints, 6 emperors, and nearly 100 true gods. Yes, nearly 100 of them. There were the remaining 72 true dukes of the gods' cult, some of the powerhouses that King Jin subdued, King Qian subordinates, the overseas celestial islands, the outer heavens, and some true gods from the Forbidden Sea. This was the power of the church. He was definitely not weak. He was very strong. At the very least, he couldn't compare to a heavenly king. He was much stronger than the human race. Among them, Fong Ping actually saw an old acquaintance. King Ping Shan. Yes, King Ping Shan. King Ping Shan, who had sought refuge with the Dragon Island previously, thought that he would be fine once he did so. Who would have thought that Cosmic Dragon would bring Dragon Island to the Demon Court in the blink of an eye? Before this, Cosmic Dragon had sought refuge with the Divine Sect. King Ping Shan was not a demon, so he did not dare to go to the Demon Court. However, at this moment, he could not return to the catacombs. He did not want to go back either, as it would be even more dangerous. He had no choice but to stay in the Divine Sect. At this time, King Ping Shan was so low-key that he almost did not exist. He didn't stand at the edge. He could see the door clearly, and the edge would attract attention. He stood at the 5th or 6th place from the bottom. He did not stand out at all. He was neither in front nor behind. No matter what, the experts would not pay too much attention to him. If there were benefits, it wouldn't be his turn. The disadvantage was that he was weak. He was so inconspicuous that no one would notice him. At this moment, he was like a drop of water merging into the ocean. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't even notice his existence. Although Fong Ping had just joined the Divine Sect, as a top-level venerable emperor, he was still standing at the front. King Ping Shan and the other true gods were on the other side. Fong Ping glanced at this guy from the corner of his eyes. He could not help but sigh. What a lucky guy. The hundreds of true kings from before in the catacombs were almost all dead. A large number of them died in the fake heavenly tomb. In the following few wars, many died as well. Many demons joined the demon court. Now, in addition to the forces of the ancient heavenly court, Earth Emperor God Dynasty, and the 2 kings, there were less than 100 real gods under Hong Yu's command. There were countless casualties, but King Ping Shan was still alive. That was his luck. In the crowd, King Ping Shan didn't lower his head, for it would attract the attention of others. He also didn't dare to look at the 3 kings above him, lest they noticed him. King Ping Shan kept a low profile, looking to both sides instead of the center. King Ping Shan's face stiffened when he saw King Huai first. This guy actually came. It was said that this guy had launched a sneak attack on Lord Tianming, causing Tianming to be killed. He also had the strength of a saint. King Ping Shan could not help but sigh. He was too cunning. He never thought that King Huai would have such strength. This guy actually came. I feel that this damn place is not safe anymore. King Ping Shan cursed in his heart. Death follows wherever he goes. A large number of experts in the catacombs died, but this guy didn't die. It was said that King Feng, who he joined, was dead, and Tianming, who joined, was also dead. One of King Feng's 2 masters was killed by him. As for the remaining Sky Plant King, he might also die one day. Now the Divine Sect came. Who was it trying to harm? He had joined the Divine Sect once before, but in the end, they were all wiped out. Now it was here again. King Ping Shan cursed in his heart. At this moment, he also heard the discussion of the other true gods. This time, the strength of the Divine Sect skyrocketed. Today, 7 saints and 1 top-level venerable emperor came. Even if King Ping Shan didn't know the 7 saints, he had heard of them, so it was not surprising. But when he heard that Niu Meng was the island lord of the Divine Ox Island, King Ping Shan couldn't help but take a look. Divine Ox Island? Never heard of it. It was said that he knew King Huai. He thought he knew where King Huai had been. Since when was there in Divine Ox Island near the sea? And a top-level, venerable emperor. If King Huai really knew such a powerhouse, he would not have joined King Feng back then. A top-level, venerable emperor was the strongest expert in the catacombs back then. If he really knew such a powerhouse, King Huai would cheat others, but not this one. King Ping Shan looked at Fong Ping from the corner of his eye and was suddenly stunned. Was this person looking at him? He was not sure. He had been so low-key. Who would pay attention to him? King Ping Shan was stunned for a moment, and then he observed Niu Meng more carefully. After watching for a while, he didn't see anything wrong. He didn't dare to probe these powerhouses. That would be asking for trouble. He didn't care much about what King Kuan said above him. King Ping Shan continued to observe Niu Meng from the corner of his eye, and also glanced at King Huai cautiously from time to time. Of course, he was also looking at the little tiger. It was quite fun. As he watched, King Ping Shan's eyes suddenly moved slightly, feeling that something was wrong. Wrong? King Ping Shan hesitated for a moment. What was wrong? Everything was in order. The next moment, King Ping Shan's heart suddenly skipped a beat. He glanced at Niu Meng from the corner of his eye and quickly looked away, his eyes full of horror. It was him. Damn it. Was it this super huge jinx? Was it him? It was him. He saw it. He saw something wrong. He saw something wrong that others might not have noticed. The style of this guy's boots. Yes, those were boots made of animal fur. There was nothing wrong with it. But King Ping Shan was a very careful person. He was weak, so he observed things more carefully than others. Every era had its own style. Ancient Heavenly Court experts, Earth Emperor Divine Dynasty experts, Catacombs experts, human experts, Outland, overseas immortal islands. In these eras, the experts of these forces actually had some differences in their living habits, personal styles, and adornment styles. The most obvious differences were, of course, hairstyles, headdress, and clothes. Boots should be the kind with the smallest differences. Powerhouses liked to wear those animal fur boots or divine weapon boots, mainly for the convenience of fighting. The difference in style was not too big. It was very weak. Under normal circumstances, no one would deliberately look at what kind of boots you were wearing. But King Ping Shan was horrified. This was the style of human combat boots. Of course, human powerhouses mainly wore military boots. Fong Ping was not wearing military boots. However, that style, even if the style had changed, King Ping Shan could still feel the style of the human race when he carefully distinguished it. He was too familiar with it. Because the human race was getting stronger and stronger, he learned a lot about the human race's culture. King Huai was actually the same. These people understood the human race very well. Those were definitely the human race's combat boots. The newly emerged venerable emperor, the human race's combat boots, with a little tiger, King Huai knew, at this moment. King Ping Shan almost instantly thought of Fong Ping. It was him. That was right. It was this death machine, the existence that killed wherever he went. It was definitely him. King Ping Shan was sure that he was not wrong. He had not made such an association before, so he did not feel anything. Now, the more he looked at Niu Meng, the more he felt that it was Fong Ping. That gaze, that smile, that back view, no matter how he looked at it, it was Fong Ping. That tiger. Is it a gray cat? It should be. It's lazy, as if it can't wake up. If it's not a gray cat, what is it? Fong Ping is not enough. He actually brought a gray cat. And King Huai, at this moment, King Ping Shan was terrified. Danger. Great danger. The divine sect was going to be in trouble. Big trouble, bloody trouble. Fong Ping had impersonated others a few times. Every time it was big trouble, and there was carnage. He impersonated Feng Mieshing, and as a result, Sky Plant City was almost destroyed. After that, most of the descendants of the true king were dead. He impersonated someone from the divine sect, and the divine sect was wiped out directly. Until now, he could still hear some people complaining that Fong Ping was too cruel, and the powerhouses who stayed behind in the divine sect were all killed by him. The remaining Feng Yun and Dixing also betrayed the divine sect. And now, Fong Ping was here again. King Ping Shan wanted to turn around and run away. He felt bitter inside. Why did this guy come out so soon? Wasn't he said to be in closed-door cultivation? Who would go into closed-door cultivation for a few days each time? Although he was worried, at this moment, King Ping Shan did not dare to breathe. He was afraid that Fong Ping would know that he had guessed his identity and kill him. King Ping Shan was terrified. At this moment, Fong Ping did not think much about it. He felt that his disguise was okay. If he did not deliberately think in this direction, he should not have exposed his identity. His disguise was still very perfect. However, Fong Ping did not expect that a small pair of boots would be discovered. He also made them according to the style of the catacombs. He refined them himself. In this way, they more or less carried some of the human race's style and habits. But it was very weak. Fong Ping did not even think about it. However, he did not know that King Ping Shan thought of him in an instant because other than Fong Ping, no one else had this ability or this courage. Fong Ping did not know. If he knew, he would say that people who were afraid of death had good observation skills. King Huai too. Previously, when he was eating with the cat, although Fong Ping did not hide it very well, King Huai recognized him at a glance. This was his ability. Now, in front of King Kuan, his disguise was even more careful. However, he was still so dazzling that he was recognized by King Ping Shan very quickly. Fong Ping, who did not realize that his identity had been exposed, was still listening to King Kuan. At this moment, King Kuan was taking roll call. Yes, roll call. Although the true gods were all here, King Kuan was not directly talking about the matter. Instead, he was choosing people. Soon, King Kuan picked another person. Ping Shan, sir. King Ping Shan shuddered, his whole body trembling. His face was a little pale, as if he was a little scared. King Kuan frowned slightly, but did not say anything. He did not know that King Ping Shan was scared by Fong Ping. He thought that this guy was timid and was scared by his sudden name calling. King Kuan did not say much. He said lightly, "You stay too." King Ping Shan did not know what happened at all, but at this moment, he had no choice but to agree. King Kuan picked a few more people again. Soon he said, "Those who have been picked stay. The rest of you leave." Following his words, a large number of true gods began to leave. Soon, the number of people in the main hall decreased again. Not all of the 8 sages stayed behind. Tianji, Yuan Gang, King Huai, and Tianbai stayed. The 2 saints who came with Tianji left, including Fong Ping. 3 of the 7 venerable emperors left. There were many true gods left, close to 20. 6 saints, for emperor level, 20 true gods. 30 people stayed, plus 3 heavenly king powerhouses. At this time, King Kuan said lightly, "Today, Marshal Yuan Gang told me that there is a treasure land outside the celestial grave, a treasure land of opportunities. It may be the place where the unquestionable sword, the Devil Emperor, entered by mistake. Everyone should know about the unquestionable sword. Now, this place is open, but no one has been there before. I don't know if it is dangerous or if there are restrictions. Some secret places are so mysterious that even the emperors know very little about them. Maybe only true gods can take away the opportunity. Maybe venerable emperors, maybe saints. Therefore, this time, I gathered you and asked you to stay for this trip to the celestial grave. You may not be the strongest, and you may not be the best at fighting in the same realm, but you each have your own specialties. Therefore, I gathered you to prepare to go to the celestial grave." As soon as he said this, there was some commotion below. The real gods were both nervous and expectant at the same time. King Ping Shan's face was extremely stiff. Why am I here?" He did not know that he also had specialties. Yes, specialties. For example, even if he did not have any specialties, this was still a specialty. He was so low-key that people almost ignored him. King Kuan felt that this was also a kind of skill. The divine sect had fought many times, but he had always ignored King Ping Shan. He seemed to have never fought. Isn't this a skill? This time he finally met King Ping Shan. King Kuan felt that it was necessary to let this person join. It was a good thing that he was inconspicuous among the experts. Yuan Gang was not too clear about the situation in that place. However, there might be some restrictions. King Kuan was also worried that if the heavenly kings were restricted from entering, it would be very troublesome. This was not impossible. If the space was too fragile, the entry of the heavenly kings might cause the secret place to shatter or even disappear. He had never been there, so he naturally had to make more preparations. He brought some people of each realm there. No matter which realm they were at, no matter which stage they were at, the divine sect could let them enter and gain benefits. This was success. King Kuan did not care what these people thought and continued to say with a smile, "Opportunities are often accompanied by danger. This is inevitable. However, the three realms is now in a great struggle. If you don't fight for it, others will fight for it. In the end, I'm afraid you will not be able to escape. After you enter the divine sect, I also hope that you can live until the end. I know nothing about what is in this secret place. The only thing I know is that unquestionable Jian was just an ordinary true god in the past. When he died in battle, he already showed signs of breaking 8. If he didn't reincarnate, I'm afraid he would have broken 8. It has only been 2,000 years since he entered this place. That was in the past. Now, it is easier to comprehend the great Tao. If it were today, perhaps unquestionable Jian would have broken 8. Everyone, it's up to you whether you want to fight or not." King Kuan said indifferently, "Opportunities are rare. I am not an insatiable person. What is useful to you is useless to me. I don't care about useless things. What is useful to me might not be useful to you. You can't afford it. Since that's the case, it will be beneficial for both sides. We will each take what we need. I can enter and get everything. The useless things will naturally be handed to the corresponding people. You can enter and take what you can use. As for what you can't use, leave it to me." Everyone nodded, feeling a little excited. Since King Kuan said so, everyone would have a chance. King Kuan continued, "Yuan Gang provided the information, so the three of them will follow. I can't leave the divine sect rashly in case I attract attention from all sides. This time, King Qian and King Jin will lead the team. I will hold the fort in the divine sect. If there is a need, I will rush over at any time. Also, according to Yuan Gang, the new Heavenly Court, Medicine God Island, and Water God Island might go over too. There might be conflicts. Before entering the secret place, try to restrain yourselves. Don't break out into a large-scale battle and attract attention. After entering, if there is a chance, kill them all." When he said that, everyone nodded hurriedly. Fong Ping hesitated for a moment, but still stood up and said nervously, "Lord King Kuan, I have just entered the divine sect. This matter, I think I will not participate. I'm not very familiar with all the seniors here. I am worried that I will delay your matter." King Kuan chuckled. "It's all right. The opportunity is destined. You are about to become a sage. This is also an opportunity. It is difficult to become a sage by cultivating hard. When the opportunity is right, becoming a sage is just a blink of an eye." Fong Ping's face was full of excitement and fear. He hurriedly said, "Thank you for your kindness, Lord." He was so touched. It turned out that King Kuan wanted to give him a chance to become a sage. This kind of leader was really worth following. He was willing to do anything. This was also King Kuan's purpose. Since a strange powerhouse came to join him, he naturally had to show his magnanimity. This time, there were many people participating. Although the seniors did not say anything, some newcomers still had to be given some opportunities. If Niu Ming became a sage, no matter what happened in the future, becoming a sage would also be a great opportunity. Naturally, he would owe him a favor. Fong Ping hurriedly thanked him, full of fear. On the side, King Pingshan was even more terrified. King Kuan must be crazy. He actually took the initiative to let Fong Ping go over, but he did not go himself. If Fong Ping made things difficult for him, it was over. He might die. King Pingshan really wanted to roar. No. Even if he really let Fong Ping go, he did not want to go. But he did not dare to say it. He was afraid of death. He actually did not dare to go to the place of opportunity. What was this? Did he come to the divine sect just to eat and wait for death? In fact, it was true. But could King Kun believe it? He might think that he was a mole, a spy, a traitor, but he did not want to go with Fong Ping and King Huai. He did not dare to go either. King Pingshan was about to cry. He did not dare to go because there was a slim chance of survival. King Kun did not look at him and continued, "Everyone, don't go out of the divine sect's mainland these 2 days. Take a rest and prepare. 2 days later, we will set off for the celestial cemetery." He did not give the divine sect's mainland to prevent the news from spreading. As for other things, he did not have too many requirements. As he said that, he said, "The others can leave. Tianbai, you entertain a few distinguished guests. Tianji, Huaying, Niu Ming, and the others can join the divine sect. If there is a suitable opportunity this time, I will not treat them differently." After speaking for a while, King Kun waved his hand to signal everyone to leave. Soon, everyone went out of the main hall. The 3 heavenly kings were seated. King Kun whispered, "King Qian, what do you think that place is?" King Qian shook his head. "There are many secret places in the 3 realms. There are fragments of the heavenly realm, and there may be the existence of the Emperor's dojo. There is a powerhouse's dojo, an ancient land of the heavenly court. It is all possible. However, for unquestionable Jian to reach the peak of breaking 7 so quickly, this place is probably not simple." King Kun nodded slightly. King Qian thought for a while and said, "There are a few other sects this time, so we need to be careful. We will also restrain ourselves to prevent others from taking advantage of us. However, these newcomers, not mentioning Yuan Gang and the other 2, King Huai, Niu Ming, and Tianji were also there." King Qian felt that there were too many outsiders. King Kun smiled and said, "It's fine. It is also because they have just arrived that it is not a pity if they die. That place might not necessarily be peaceful. Death and death were common occurrences. These foreign powerhouses are still necessary to explore the way and find some traps. We can't bring our old friends to fight." King Qian nodded. This made some sense. Outsiders who had just entered probably did not have any sense of belonging. If they were sent there, it was fine if they died, but if they were alive, they would be exploited by the divine sect. King Jin heard this and said, "That's good too. If there are restrictions on the heavenly kings, they will be in charge. If there are no restrictions, these people can be used as pathfinders and it will reduce some danger." This time, King Qian nodded in agreement. He thought for a while and said, "The origins of the others are clear. Niu Ming, I have never heard of this god Ox Island in all these years. I have visited the periphery of the sea many times and have never found this god Ox Island." Hong Kun quickly smiled and said, "It's fine. It is just a venerable emperor. He won't cause too much of a commotion. This person is close to the sage realm. Once he breaks through, the divine sect will have one more sage. As for what you are worried about, the sea of bitterness is so big. You might not be able to find a small world if you hide it in the void. God Ox Island, I will send people to investigate. Of course, you all need to be careful in case you are schemed against by Huai Ying and the others." King Qian smiled and said, "I'm at the peak of Break 7 realm. How can I be schemed against so easily? Since you think it is feasible, then let's do it. If Break 8 realm is involved, you need to get there in time to prevent any accidents." "Yes," King Kun replied. These people were the foundation of the divine sect. He didn't want them to die there. If Break 8 realm was really involved, he didn't mind getting involved. These people were discussing in the main hall. Outside the main hall, King Pingshan wanted to leave but couldn't. They were arranged by Tianbai to attend the banquet as a welcome party for Fong Ping and the others. There were not many people in the first place. There were only 30 powerhouses. The sages had their own circle, and the venerable emperors also had their own circle. However, Fong Ping was not familiar with them. At this moment, he was closer to these true gods. King Pingshan almost bumped into Fong Ping. He was afraid and subconsciously avoided Fong Ping. The more he acted like this, the more Fong Ping felt strange. This guy felt so scared. What was going on? Even if King Pingshan was timid, he shouldn't have not recovered after being shouted at by King Kun. King Pingshan knew his pain. In fact, he was not too afraid that Fong Ping would kill him. The key was, he was afraid that Fong Ping, this troublemaker, would kill everyone present. He wouldn't give him a chance. He was just a true god. Fong Ping was nothing. He wouldn't even know how he died. How could King Pingshan not be afraid? However, at this moment in front of him, King Huai suddenly turned around and said with a smile, "Pingshan, you're here too. We haven't seen each other for a long time." King Pingshan smiled with difficulty. He felt that he was now in a wolf's den. There were quite a few wolves. Among these 30 people, there was a wolf hiding. No, King Huai was not hiding anymore. This was what they looked like on the surface. There was still a vicious beast lurking in the dark. This was the biggest danger. King Pingshan lamented in his heart. At this moment, Tianbai laughed and said, "Pingshan, since you are familiar with King Huai, then you should entertain King Huai and Venerable Emperor Niuming. These two will be stationed in the sect in the future. It's good to show them around." King Pingshan wanted to refuse and run, but he had no choice. He suppressed his trembling, bowed his head, and said, "Yes." He dared not disobey the saint's order, and he couldn't show any unwillingness. Otherwise, he was afraid that Fong Ping would know that he had discovered his identity, and then he would be finished. Sigh. A sigh echoed in his heart. At this moment, King Pingshan looked at the two beside him. He wanted to die. He just wanted to live in peace for a few days. P.S. I almost fell asleep writing. There are only 2 chapters left. I'll ask for some monthly votes at the end of the month. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 1279. Pingshan, it's been some time since we last met. You're almost at the Emperor tier, right? King Pingshan had the urge to burst into tears at King Huai's first words. At this moment, the few true gods in the vicinity looked at him with surprise on their faces. King Pingshan's face stiffened. Who is an emperor? How could I, a weak true monarch, be at the emperor realm? King Huai let out a laugh, his eyes darting around as he stared at King Pingshan. Helpless, King Pingshan said dryly, "King Huai, you must be joking. I don't have any hopes of becoming an overlord in this lifetime." "You can't say that." The Huai king laughed and said, "You are also a martial artist who fought human King Fong Ping to a draw in the past. There are no weaklings among those who survived a battle with a human king." There was nothing wrong with those words. Of those who had fought with Fong Ping and were still alive, there were not many weaklings. Just a few days ago, King Pingshan had fought Fong Ping. At that time, they were evenly matched. King Pingshan's face turned green. "What do you mean by a draw?" At that time, Fong Ping had just reached rank 9, and he was already a true god. When he fought Fong Ping evenly, it was only for the sake of safety. Now, the King Huai had actually used it as evidence to defame him. King Pingshan smiled and said, "King Huai, I've never provoked you, so why do you have to do this?" As soon as the Huai king said those words, the others couldn't help but suspect that he was concealing his true strength. Perhaps he really had the strength of an emperor tier. How wronged he was? King Huai smiled and didn't say anything else. He said, "Pingshan, give us a brief overview of the situation of the various forces in the Sea of Misery." These days, the forces in the Sea of Misery have undergone tremendous changes, and were almost overwhelmed. King Pingshan breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that he no longer mentioned these things. At this moment, he glanced cautiously at Fong Ping, who had not spoken a word, and said, "Today, Misery is divided into 3 parts: the shallow sea, the inner sea, and the deep sea. The shallow sea, which is where some of the demon clan's forbidden grounds used to be. The inner sea is where the 33 immortal islands are located. The deep sea is the territory of beginner martial arts powerhouses." At this moment, King Pingshan could not wait to talk about these things to distract Fong Ping and the others. He said quickly, "I'll mainly talk about the Inland Sea region. Since the last Emperor Advent battle ended, the Inland Sea region is mainly divided into 8 forces. First, the Divine Sect. The second was the Demon Court. Third, Medicine God Island. Fourth, the Divine Kingdom of Chaos. Fifth, Mount Wangwu. Number 6, Immortal Seeking Island. Number 7, the Water God Island." King Pingshan paused for a moment and said, These 7 areas all have heavenly king powerhouses holding down the fort. The 8th is the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Of course, that's just what they call themselves. In reality, their origins are complicated and they all have their own backgrounds. I'll tell you about the first 7 forces later. You too should know some of the situation. Let's talk about the Rogue Cultivator Alliance first. The two of you should be familiar with the experts within it. You should know Saint Lin Hai of the Extreme Tao, Guardian Feng Yun of the Divine Sect, and Saint Ran of the East Emperor. Other than these 3 sages, I heard that 2 more sages have revived recently. One is from the Extreme Path Sect, and the other is from the East Emperor Sect. Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Fong Ping had heard of this before. They were not considered a rogue cultivator. They were just a group of powerhouses who did not have the strength of a heavenly king. They were unwilling to rely on the 4 sides, so they formed an alliance. It was like a hodgepodge. There were people from all kinds of forces. At this moment, Fong Ping calculated for a while and was slightly speechless. The 8 major forces, Immortal Seeking Island, Water Force Divine Island, and the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, were actually related to him. Immortal Seeking Island was actually the Spirit Emperor sect. Recently, Lindsay was not always in the human race. Sometimes she would go to Immortal Seeking Island. As for Water Force, when Water Force became a saint and came out of seclusion last time, he did not see Li Wuji. Now that Emperor Nan's first seat had returned, Fong Ping was not sure what Emperor Nan's thoughts were for the time being. Moreover, Fong Ping and the others had killed a saint from Emperor Nan's bloodline before. It was not good to say anything now. King Huai thought for a while and suddenly smiled. Marshal Yuan Gang, I have something to ask you. Yuan Gang, who was walking in front, slowed down and smiled. What is it, King Huai? The 9 emperors should have their first disciples. Now, the Beast Emperor, East Emperor, Earthly Emperor, and Spirit Emperor haven't appeared. Could it be that they have fallen? Lindsay was not Spirit Emperor's first seat. She was Spirit Emperor's niece. Hong Kuan and Hong Yu were not Earthly Emperor's first disciples either. As for Beast Emperor and East Emperor, their first disciples had not appeared either. In the past, these people were either heavenly kings or top saints. Their strength was not weak. 5 of the 9 emperors' first seats had appeared. However, Jian was killed, and the other 4 were still alive. Hearing this, Yuan Gang smiled and said, "Let's not talk about Spirit Emperor. She doesn't have many powerhouses under her. Lindsay breaking through to the Heavenly King realm is already unexpected. The previous first seat was comparable to Kai Dai. I'm not too sure whether he has completely died or not. Even if he has recovered, he should only be a saint now. Lord Earthly Emperor." He glanced at Tianbai. Tianbai saw this and smiled faintly. Lord Earthly Emperor teaches without discrimination. He has many powerhouses under him. He did have a first disciple in the past, but he died in battle in the 3 realms. Later, Lord Kuan became one of the 8 emperors, and his disciples were led by Lord Kuan. King Huai nodded. So that was it. There were indeed many powerhouses under the Earthly Emperor. It was a little scary. Among the 36 saints, many of them were on good terms with the Earthly Emperor. It was not convenient for Yuan Gang to talk about the Earthly Emperor. Hearing Tianbai mention the Earthly Emperor, Yuan Gang continued. The Beast Emperor doesn't accept disciples. The monster race focuses on bloodline inheritance. There are many powerhouses in the dragon race. Cosmic Dragon is a descendant of the Beast Emperor. The Beast Emperor also has a few direct descendants, but I don't know how they are now. Dragon Transformation Heavenly King is a dragon, so he should have a close relationship with the Beast Emperor. He might be one of the Beast Emperor's descendants. As for East Emperor, speaking of East Emperor, Yuan Gang thought for a while and said, Lord East Emperor had a wide circle of friends in the heavenly court. He had many disciples. But now, I only heard that the Anran Saint has recovered. First Seed Hong doesn't have much contact with us. Back then, Lord East Emperor became an emperor early. Before he became an emperor, he had disciples everywhere. Hong is much older than us. He is even older than Lord Divine Emperor's first seat, Heavenly King Yi. I don't know much about him. I don't know if he has fallen or recovered. Maybe he is not dead. He has been hiding in the dark. Yuan Gang smiled and said, "This person might be on par with Heavenly King Jin and Heavenly King Feng. They are all powerhouses of that generation." Yuan Gang mainly talked about Chief East Emperor, who did not appear. As for the others, there was nothing worth mentioning. Feng Ping also sighed. This woman, Spirit Emperor, was really miserable. No, her disciples were miserable. Yuan Gang did not even bother to talk about this emperor's first seat. Glancing at Fat Cat from the corner of his eyes, Feng Ping cursed in his heart. That was true. The good things of the Spirit Imperial family were all wasted by this cat. Where would there be a large number of resources to cultivate disciples? Cat Tiger's face was cute. He did not admit it. It was not him. The Spirit Imperial family's first seat could not do it. That was because Spirit Emperor ate it himself and became fat. At this time, Yuan Gang said again, most of the 8 major forces in the deep sea are actually related to the Emperor. The Divine Emperor's Medicine God Island. The Beast Emperor should be the Demon Court, the Earthly Emperor's Divine Sect, the North Emperor's Royal House, the Spirit Emperor's Immortal Seeking Island, the South Emperor's Water God Island. As he said that, Yuan Gang sighed. If eldest senior brother had returned, this bitter sea might have had a place for the Emperor. He did not bother to say the rest of the sentence. Ji-Yun died too fast. Nowadays, among the 9 Emperor's factions, the East Emperor and the Emperor were doing the worst. As for the West Emperor, they were not weak. They had 2 heavenly kings. But that guy in the celestial terminus was not very reliable. He ran away with the West Emperor Palace. As a result, the West Emperor's first seat, Sheng Hong, had to go to the Medicine God Island. Moon Spirit was almost the same. She did not care about the North Emperor's first seat. Lord Huai did not continue this topic. The Emperor was not weak, but they were doing badly. Feng Ping liked things that hurt people's hearts. He would not do it. Lord Huai quickly changed the topic. The power of the extreme path seems to be very weak. Apart from the sky bestowing king, are there any other heavenly kings? There are 4 extreme path emperors, and there is not even one heavenly king realm disciple. Heaven Emperor Zhan is too young. I don't think he has any disciples. Heaven Emperor Batian likes to travel around. He has a few disciples, but no one to guide them. Later, some of them went away. The remaining ones are probably dead. Heaven Reverse Emperor is old, but he never had a few disciples. Heaven Destroyer Emperor has a lot of disciples. But during the war, most of his disciples died. Yuan Gang shook his head and said, among the 4 emperors' sects, only his bloodline has the most people. When the war broke out, the heaven-destroying palace was also the target of the others. Naturally, his bloodline suffered the most casualties. I'm afraid only a few survived. They walked and chatted. Although they did not talk about important secrets, they had a better understanding of the ancient times. Soon, Tianbai took them to the banquet. All kinds of fruits, meat, and nectar, the divine sects were rich in resources. There were also beautiful martial artists around the banquet, but few of the martial artists present paid attention to them. At this level, what they pursued was the peak of martial arts. Few of the old guys who had lived for tens of thousands of years cared about sex. As a top-level venerable emperor, Feng Ping was not weak among them. The sages even treated him as a sage. After all, Feng Ping was still young. If he had some opportunities, he might be able to become a sage soon. As they chatted, they talked about the Tomb of Heaven. Speaking of the Tomb of Heaven, Yuan Gang could not help but shake his head. The Tomb of Heaven is where the celestial court used to be. There must be a lot of benefits there, but it's also very dangerous. Especially, there are many beginner martial artists sealed there. It's terrible. Don't do anything on your way to the Tomb of Heaven, in case you attract the attention of the powerhouses in the Tomb of Heaven. Feng Ping did not say much before. Now he asked with some doubts, Sir, since there are beginner martial artists sealed in the Tomb of Heaven, why didn't you just kill them back then? Yuan Gang smiled. I don't know. The emperors must have some differences in how they treat beginner martial artists. Years ago, the battle between origin and beginner martial artists ended. Beginner martial artists were defeated. However, they sealed themselves and were not killed. Maybe it's because the emperors were also beginner martial artists. We died too early, so we don't know what happened later. But as far as I know, there is a powerhouse like Fist God among those who are sealed now. Fist God is also one of the oldest few beginner martial artists. He is hot-tempered and often hurts people and takes their lives at the slightest disagreement. The seal of the tomb of heaven may not last long, so everyone must be careful. Also, the heavenly hound of the origin is guarding the tomb of heaven. He is also hot-tempered. I'm telling everyone this. Unless it's a last resort, don't go into the depths of the tomb of heaven by mistake. It's too dangerous. Tianbai nodded and warned everyone, don't be careless. If you encounter special circumstances and get separated, you must go to the periphery. Don't go deeper. Everyone nodded hurriedly. They would not rush in recklessly if it was a matter of life and death. King Huai smiled and asked, Marshal, does everyone know nothing about the situation in the secret place? Yuan Gang smiled. It's not a lie to say that we don't know anything, but it's not that we don't know anything. For example, the combat Heavenly Palace and Heavenly Emperor Battle's Heart were actually taken out from the secret place by the Demon Emperor. However, the combat Heavenly Palace and Heavenly Emperor Battle's Heart might have lost too much power, so they didn't reflect Heavenly Emperor Battle's strength. Tianbai was surprised. Were they taken out from the secret place? Could it be that Heavenly Emperor Battle died in the secret place back then? Back then, it was Heavenly Emperor Battle who disappeared first that triggered the great chaos later on. Yuan Gang said hesitantly, it's hard to say. It might be like this. The place might be the place where Heavenly Emperor Battle fell, so it's not together with the Tomb of Heaven. Upon hearing that it was the place where Heavenly Emperor Battle fell, everyone was somewhat excited. The place where an extreme Dao Heavenly Emperor died in battle. If extreme Dao Heavenly Emperor had some benefits left behind, then they would be rich. Yuan Gang continued, and it might not be just these. Previously, Master descended upon the three realms. Since he entered the divine sect, this Yuan will also say a few more words. It might not be purely for the sake of killing Fong Ping. It might also be related to this place. The descent of a human emperor might be related to this place. As for killing Fong Ping, perhaps it was just something in passing at the beginning. It was just that he did not expect that an accident would occur and was finally chased back to the depths of the origin. With him saying so, everyone became even more excited. Even a sovereign wanted to investigate. In that case, there might be a huge harvest this time. Fong Ping was also listening seriously, but he was thinking whether War King and the rest had any gains inside or not. Listening to the meaning of these words, that place was not simple. War King and the rest might have taken away all the benefits. Could it be that they had become saints or heavenly kings now? Just as Fong Ping was thinking about War King. In a pavilion, War King stared at the roof again and again. Suddenly, he went crazy and said, "Let me out. Mother Asterisk Kerr, let me out. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me go back." No one paid attention to him. War King wanted to cry. "I'm begging you, let me out. I'm going crazy. What are you guys trying to do? How old am I? Is it appropriate to lock me in a small dark room? How long have I been locked up? Get out. Silence. I'm going to die. Who will save me?" War King cried bitterly. "I can't take it anymore. If this goes on, I'm going to go crazy. I'm here to look for opportunities, not to be abused. Even if I'm abused, you can at least give me some benefits. Being locked up like this every day, he even had the thought of dying. Xiao Weigua, Jiang Hao, where did the two of you go? Come and save me." War King wailed. If he had known this place would be like this, he would not have come even if he was beaten to death. Old Devil Lee had said that this place was full of treasures, but that guy had never been here before. What the hell did he know? He even kicked her in. She might have been kicked by him. That was why she was so unlucky. War King wailed for a while, but no one paid attention to him. After sighing for a while, War King sprawled on the table and said weakly, "Someone come. It's fine if there's no benefit, but it's fine if you can chat with me for a while. Are you going to lock me up until I die? Help me, quick." The Battle King howled out one after another. He had been howling for many days now. He had even forgotten just how long he had been locked up in here. But These days were truly inhumane for him. Right at this moment, a strange voice sounded from outside the pavilion. "Fatty, study hard. Once you're done, I'll let you out." As soon as he finished speaking, he disappeared. The world fell silent again. War King was not surprised. He scolded, "Study your ancestors. You always say the same thing, and then you disappear. Do you think I can read a few books and words in this shabby place? You should at least teach me a few words. How can I read if you haven't taught me anything? How can I read?" He was furious. This was not a message transmitted by mind energy. It was a real book, but he could not read a single word. How could he learn without a teacher? No matter how strong the overlord-level mind energy was, or how fast he could learn, the key was that he had to teach him something before he could learn. Outside, there was no sound. War King was annoyed. He punched the door, but it did not budge. War King was not surprised. He was just venting. He had been punching the door for a long time, since the first day he came to this place, but it did not open. Not only that, this place could not even restore his chi and blood. He had consumed a lot of chi and blood during this time, and he had lost a lot of weight. Only his golden body was powerful and could be considered immortal. Otherwise, as a venerable sovereign, he might have starved to death. Alas! War King sighed. "This place is mysterious. I always feel something is wrong. Unfortunately, I can't get out and I can't see anything. I don't know if Oldly will come to save me. If he doesn't come, I will die. If Oldly doesn't come, it's fine. Fong Ping and Zhang Tao. It's been so long, and they don't even think about me. They don't have a conscience." War King cursed again. He had been locked up for so long. They should at least care about him. At this moment, there was a small movement on the top of the building. War King looked up. At this moment, someone drilled a small hole on the roof. It was so small that it could not be seen. War King's eyes moved, and he looked up hurriedly. The entrance of the cave was blocked. Black pupils. War King was sure it was eyes. Someone was looking at him. "Who are you?" War King looked up, his eyes sharp. "What do you want? Why are you locking me up?" Soon, he realized something was wrong. If this person was locking him up, there was no reason for him to drill a hole on the roof to look at him. Could it be a third powerhouse? He thought it was a powerhouse because he didn't know what the building material was made of. He couldn't even break it with his strength of venerable emperor. Now, someone had drilled a small hole, which meant the person must be stronger than him. The black pupils were still there, but no one spoke. It seemed to be looking at War King. War King even felt puzzled and curious. "Who are you? What do you want? Let me out, and we can talk." War King had finally met someone, so he was not willing to give up. At this moment, he said hurriedly, "What do you want to know? I will tell you." The pupils were still looking at him. Soon, the pupils disappeared. There was a glimmer of light. War King hurriedly rushed up and punched. However, the small hole did not crack. Instead, it closed quickly. At this moment, he seemed to hear voices outside. "No, it's a little fatty." Then the hole disappeared. The voices were gone. War King's expression changed slightly. Then he frowned and fell into deep thought. The voice just now, damn, what the hell is this place? War King cursed. There must be a lot of secrets in this place. Most importantly, he couldn't get out, and no one could talk to him. War King looked back at the books behind him. Even though he often damaged them, they were still books. There was no sign of damage. The War King cursed. "Forget it, I'll just continue reading." Although he couldn't understand them, maybe he would understand them as he continued reading. He would never come to this shabby place again. Although he thought about it, the last words he had heard were still echoing in his mind. Because of this, War King suddenly calmed down and tried to get out as soon as possible. He wanted to find out what this place was. At the same time, Earth. Zhang Tao looked up at the sky. He was used to this gesture now. Countless powerhouses like to look up at the sky. Some people just wanted to follow the crowd, while others really saw something. At this moment, Zhang Tao saw it. A figure appeared beside him and said softly, "Did you see it?" "Yes," Zhang Tao answered. He looked up and murmured, "The sky is going to change." "Old devilly, isn't this sun even bigger?" "Yes, it is." Heaven-suppressing king said in a low voice. The heavenly wall is shaking. Something big will happen soon. The nine heavens is collapsing. There are signs of it. The nine heavens collapsing. Zhang Tao frowned. The nine heavens collapsing. Heaven and earth returning to one? Maybe. Heaven-suppressing king said in a low voice. The first heaven will collapse first, then continue. In the future, the nine heavens may disappear completely. The three realms will become a new three realms. There will be no need to shatter the void anymore. The space will be extremely stable. Zhang Tao broke the space with one punch. At this moment, he had only broken the first heaven. Zhang Tao sensed it silently and said after a while, there are some changes in the first heaven. That means after the first heaven is broken, to break the void again, you need at least 300,000 calories of vitality. That's right. Heaven-suppressing king said solemnly. The nine heavens didn't exist since ancient times. After the origin path appeared, the nine heavens came into existence. Now that the nine heavens is collapsing, it may mean many things. Yes, Zhang Tao had just finished lamenting when heaven-suppressing king said with a bitter smile, don't think about this. You're in trouble. The human race must become martial artists immediately. Otherwise, once the first heaven is broken, the space will be stable and the pressure will increase. Ordinary people will be crushed to death instantly. Become martial artists and have strong vitality. They can adapt slowly. As soon as he said that, Zhang Tao's expression changed. After it's broken, the pressure will increase? Yes. Heaven-suppressing king nodded. This is inevitable. Once it's broken, there will be spatial turbulence. You must be careful and make arrangements immediately. Otherwise, there will be huge changes to everything now. I understand. Zhang Tao's expression was solemn. This was a troublesome matter. If not for heaven-suppressing king's reminder, once it was really broken, countless people might die instantly. Heaven-suppressing king said again, it's impossible to judge whether the nine heavens breaking is a good thing or a bad thing. At the very least, after breaking a first heaven, cultivation will be easier. The closer the energy is to us, the denser it is. The same goes for the origin path. Fong Ping said that the origin world was 10th heaven. It was not without reason. The immortal source was in 9th heaven, and the origin was in 10th heaven. Breaking a heaven meant that the closer one was to the energy and the immortal source. This is an opportunity, but also a crisis. If you seize the opportunity, you can soar to the sky. Zhang Tao nodded, but his expression was still solemn. When he looked at the sky again, the feeling that the sun gave him was indeed bigger. Old Li, how long will it take for a first heaven to break? Very soon, maybe a month, no longer than 3 months. Heaven-suppressing king said again, when all 9th heaven is broken, it might be the day when the heaven-human barrier is completely broken. Chaos will come. Understood. Zhang Tao let out a long breath. The countdown to chaos had officially begun. That kid Fong Ping hoped that he would gain something this time. P.S. Please get some monthly votes. Sob, sob, sob. Forget about the first place. The last few days seem to be dangerous. Chapter 1280. The Divine Sect. After the banquet, the Divine Sect began to prepare for departure. As an outsider, although Fong Ping could participate in this operation, it was obvious that the other party did not completely trust him. No one told Fong Ping about the specific arrangements. Including King Huai, he was also excluded. The real core was King Qian, King Jin, and Tianbai. The other 3 saints of the emperor's bloodline were sometimes summoned to discuss some matters. The Divine Sect on the coast. King Pingshan once again took the 2 people to familiarize themselves with the environment of the Divine Sect. King Pingshan's task now was to be their guide. As Fong Ping took a step closer, King Pingshan quietly stepped back a little. Fong Ping looked at him with a half-smile and said lightly, King Pingshan, I've noticed that you seem to be very wary of standing next to me. You've already avoided me a few times. Do you think that I'm not worthy to stand next to you? No. King Pingshan's face turned purple. He hurriedly said, "You misunderstood me, master. I just feel that I'm not qualified to stand side by side with you. Please don't think too much." "Really?" Fong Ping smiled and said playfully, "I'm actually a little curious. I think I'm cautious and don't talk much. How did you find out?" King Pingshan played dumb and said, "What do you mean, master? You don't know? What master said is too profound." "I'm stupid." King Pingshan continued to play dumb. "I don't know you. I don't know your identity. This place is close to the coast, and we can leave the divine sect at any time. Pingshan, do you know why you insist on taking us here?" Fong Ping smiled sinisterly. King Pingshan's face turned green. "I didn't think about this before you mentioned it. Now that you mentioned it, I thought of it. It's convenient to kill people and run away." "Master." King Pingshan had a pleading look on his face. "Your Excellency, I used to be your comrades in arms." Fong Ping was stunned. "Comradeship? Do you mean the fake fight between us?" "Master, please spare my life." King Pingshan pleaded, "I will never say a word to anyone. Master, please spare my life." King Huai watched the show with a sinister smile. Fong Ping didn't bother to scare him anymore. He said lightly, "Tell me, how did you find out?" "Master, you have an extraordinary temperament. No matter how you try to hide it, you can't hide your majesty." "Shut up," Fong Ping scolded. "Although you're telling the truth, can you not be so direct? Speak human language." King Pingshan was embarrassed and said in a low voice, "It's just some of my lord's decorations." He gave a simple explanation and hurriedly said, "What do you need me to do for you?" "This lowly one will go through water and tread on fire." The last time this lowly one sought refuge with the Dragon Island, it was originally because I thought that the Dragon Island would be on the same side as you. That's why I sought refuge with the Dragon Island. Who knew that Cosmic Dragon and the Dragon Emperor would suddenly leave? I had no choice but to stay in the Divine Sect. Now that your Excellency is here, this lowly one will join the human race and pledge my loyalty to your Excellency. I will die for your Excellency." As he spoke, he was about to bow and enter the human race. Fong Ping was a little speechless. He looked at King Huai and smiled faintly. "Pingshan is your brother?" King Huai smiled brilliantly and said in a low voice, "A wise man submits to circumstances. Some people in the three realms have already gone crazy. The longer they live, the crazier they become. As for me and Pingshan, we are not old among the true monarchs. We are not hegemons, and we are not in danger of losing our lifespans. We do not seek to rule over the three realms. Since that's the case, survival is naturally the most important thing." The underlying meaning was very clear. They did not want to be the boss, and there was no threat of their lifespans. They had not reached the end of their lives. Just one sentence, it was fine as long as they lived. As for the rest, they did not care. There were actually quite a number of people who had such thoughts. However, after reaching true God level, these few were the only ones who showed it so obviously. After all, reaching true God level, they were also the hegemons of a region in the past. Some people were used to being high and mighty and might not be able to lower their heads. However, these two did not have such concerns. They were not figures like life monarchs. If it were life monarchs, they would not easily bow their heads at this moment because life monarchs were the hegemons of the catacombs and were once expected to unify the catacombs. Fong Ping understood the meaning and said with a smile, "That's right, a wise man submits to circumstances." Unfortunately, just this simple sentence, how many people in the three realms who have lived for tens of thousands of years can't understand it? Fong Ping shook his head and sighed. There are not many people who can really understand it. Sometimes, actually, aren't we the same? A wise man submits to circumstances. It was easy to say, but there were really not many who could really do it, including Fong Ping. If he really understood and accepted his fate, then there was no need for him to struggle anymore. If the emperor wanted to scheme against him, then let them scheme against him. Now, he was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. He only wanted to stop the emperor and even wanted to kill the emperor. Just based on this, Fong Ping had no right to say that others did not understand. Fong Ping did not mention his identity. Since King Pingshan already knew, Fong Ping did not speak politely. Help me find out who King Kun gave the saint token to. He will not use it himself. This time, he might give it to a saint to use. Oh right, King Jin does not have the saint token and heavenly king seal. Help me check if he took it. Also, if there is a way, try to persuade King Kun to give the King Kun seal to King Jin. King Pingshan's face changed. Persuade King Kun to give the King Kun token to King Jin. Was this something that a human could do? Fong Ping was overestimating himself. He was only a true god who came to seek refuge, not a heavenly king. He had only seen King Kun a few times. Fong Ping smiled. Try. You have been here for some time. It might not be impossible. You don't need to tell them personally. Think of a way to persuade them. King Kun might not be easy, but I think there is a way to persuade King General. Spread the news to King General without the heavenly king seal. He is a broken 6 heavenly king. With the heavenly king seal, he is one of the 8 kings. It won't be hard for him to control it. He can even fight against a broken 7 heavenly king. If King Jin leads the team there, shouldn't King Kun express his opinion? If King Jin requests it, King Kun is not afraid that King Jin will steal his heavenly king seal. There is still a chance. It just depends on how you do it and how you do it quietly. King Pingshan smiled bitterly. He thought for a while and looked at King Huai. Fong Ping smiled. King Huai can't do it. In the past, he still had a chance, but now, everyone knows that he is cunning. His image is ruined. If he says it, others will be wary, and it will attract King Kun's attention. You can do it. Think of a way. King Pingshan cried and said in a low voice, Lord, this. Fong Ping was tired. He frowned and said, Doesn't King Jin have any friends with true gods? Think of a way to spread the news and let them think about it. If it works, then it will work. If not, then forget it. King Pingshan could only nod. Fong Ping calculated for a while. If it really didn't work, he would get the sage token. It was fine even if the heavenly king seal was delayed. However, there was a high chance that King Jin would lead the team to borrow the heavenly king seal from King Kun. Also, there will be people from other forces going there. You can find out more about it. Okay. This time, King Pingshan didn't refuse. He thought for a while and said, There should be people from Godland. Lord, do we need to create chaos and start a war between the divine sects and Godland? Fong Ping glanced at him. Not bad. He was self-taught. He even knew how to answer first. We can try. However, they should know how to restrain themselves. You might not be able to do it. King Pingshan nodded. He was just saying it. If Fong Ping really took the risk to do it, he would be overestimating him. As they chatted, King Huai's expression changed. He looked into the distance and quickly said, Let's go to the temple. King Kun has summoned us. It seems like we are ready to go. The 3 of them didn't say much and quickly walked toward the temple. At the same time, Water God Island, Emperor Nan's first seat, Yin Fei, Water God, and Li Wuji gathered. At this moment, Water God had advanced another level in the Sage realm. His aura was stronger than before. As for Li Wuji, he was no longer at the peak. Instead, he seemed to be close to the Emperor realm. At this moment, Li Wuji was still in the form of a bull. He stepped on the ground and said in a muffled voice, Aren't you going to tell the humans? Yin Fei frowned slightly and said in a low voice, Tell the humans are the enemies of the 3 realms. Previously, they killed many inspectors. Once we come into contact with the humans, we will immediately kill them. Li Wuji said in a muffled voice, But I am still the sea guardian of the humans. Yin Fei's face was cold. He said in a low voice, Don't mention this again. Even if the sea guardian has become a monster emperor, don't mention it again. How can the descendants of Emperor Nan guard the seas for the humans? Moreover, the humans won't win. The humans seem powerful, but in reality, only Fong Ping and Zhang Tao truly belong to the humans. Of these 2, Fong Ping is feared by the emperors. Zhang Tao and the emperor will definitely fight. Both of them will die, or even have no chance of survival. That's not necessarily true. Li Wuji still found it hard to say. Fong Ping was very mysterious. He broke 6 today. Maybe he would break 7 tomorrow. The day after that, he would break 8 and then 9, who said that he definitely couldn't defeat the emperors. It was not easy for it to find a backer. Now that it was denied, it was also unhappy. Fei's expression became gloomier. He looked at Water God. Water God had turned into human form. Seeing this, he stomped Li Wuji into the ground and chuckled. Fei, this little calf is inexperienced. Don't be calculative with it. It was Emperor Nan's mount. Its status was not low. Fei had no subordinates now. He still needed the support of Water God Island. Otherwise, if a true god powerhouse like Li Wuji kept questioning him, Fei would have been angry long ago. By not being angry, he was giving face to Water God. Water God stomped Li Wuji into the ground and chuckled. Fei, if we don't inform the humans, then we are still not strong enough. If there is a conflict, we might not be their match. Why don't we invite a few strong reinforcements? Fei said lightly. Where can we get reinforcements now? Moreover, there won't be any conflict with the patrollers for now. It's not that there's no one. Isn't Moon Spirit in the royal house? Seijue is in the royal house too. Fei frowned. What was he thinking? Invite Moon Spirit? She was the descendant of the North Emperor. Water God did not mind. He smiled. Moon Spirit and Hong Yu had a falling out. She has her own thoughts too. I had some contact with Moon Spirit in the past. It's not impossible to invite her. Fei frowned. We'll discuss this later. Obviously, he did not plan to discuss it later. Water God raised his eyebrows. He thought for a while and said, What about the Demon Court? Not the Demon Emperor, but the Dragon Clan of the Demon Court. Long Yu and I have a good relationship too. The Dragon Emperor and I are all right too. Li Wuji, who was being stepped on, could not help but say, All right? Patriarch, weren't you defeated by the Dragon Emperor in North Sea previously? Water God really wanted to stomp this calf to death. Was this something a human could say? Didn't they know that it was a friendly spar? Fei could not be bothered with the two bulls. He said lightly, No need. The demons are not on the same side as us. The moment he said that, Water God smiled. Fei, I'm also a demon. Fei was stunned. He had almost forgotten. He quickly smiled. Water God, you are different. You are Master's Mount. How can those demons compare to you? Water God was speechless. He did not want to say anything else. Fei was determined to send them on their way. However, Water God was a little worried about Li Wuji. He said, Then let Wuji stay behind to guard Water God Island. No, Fei said in a low voice. We do not know the exact situation now. We are not sure if only true gods can enter or if there are any restrictions after entering. If that's not the case, I can go alone. But because we are not sure, we have to go just in case we do not have a chance to enter. Wuji is too weak. Water God smiled. How about this? Emperor Nan's palace is also a treasure. Fei, why don't you lend it to Wuji for protection? No. Fei had just refused when Li Wuji said, That's not yours. It belongs to my patriarch, Wuji. Water God scolded, Nonsense. It belongs to Emperor Nan. I am only keeping it for Emperor Nan. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will kill you. Li Wuji snorted. It belonged to the patriarch. Emperor Nan had disappeared for 8,000 years. Besides, without the patriarch, this thing could not be preserved. Fei took over Emperor Nan's palace as soon as he arrived because he was the first seat of Emperor Nan. Based on what? Li Wuji was very unhappy. His patriarch status might not be lower than this first seat. A follower and a mount. Who said that a follower's status must be higher than a mount? Fei narrowed his eyes and smiled. All right, then I will lend it to Wuji for protection. With that, a small palace flew out and instantly entered Li Wuji's body. Water God smiled. Fei, thank you. He did not want to fall out with Fei, but it was indeed dangerous for Li Wuji to go. If Fei really did not give it to him, he would not be happy. The Emperor Nan's palace that had been preserved for 8,000 years was taken away by Fei. Since he was the first seed of Emperor Nan, Water God did not say anything. but it was still necessary for his descendants to use it for protection. Li Wuji put away Emperor Nan's palace and said again, "Patriarch, we still lack an emperor level. If only emperor level can enter, how can we enter?" Water God looked at Yin Fei. Yin Fei frowned again. This was a difficult problem. Only emperor level can enter. Try to break through by force. As soon as Yin Fei finished speaking, Li Wuji said, "I am afraid that will be difficult and may not work. There are a few emperor-level experts in the three realms who are not very clear on this. Ming Ting's Di Zun is now in the sea. Why don't you invite him to go with you?" Ming Ting. Yin Fei thought about it, and a look of contempt appeared in his eyes. Ming Ting is still alive. He knew that fellow. Ming Ting was an ancient true god. He had lived to the end of his life, which was about 10,000 years. 8,000 years ago, that fellow was already a true god. Now, if not for Fong Ping's help, he would probably have died of old age. Yin Fei also knew a little about his situation. He smiled and said, "This person helped the humans in battle before." Li Wuji said indifferently, "There are too many powerhouses who helped the humans in battle. That day, the powerhouses of the three realms even helped the humans to kill an emperor. Doesn't that mean that there is no one in the three realms who can cooperate with us?" Yin Fei frowned at it. He was a heavenly king, the first disciple of Emperor Nan. This calf provoked him again and again. Li Wuji was not afraid of him. It was really not afraid. Unlike its patriarch, Li Wuji felt that there was no need for it to be afraid of a fellow who had broken six. The patriarch listened to him because he was concerned about Emperor Nan. It did not know Emperor Nan. At this moment, being stared at by Yin Fei, Li Wuji's eyes were blank. It said as if it was talking in its sleep, "Besides, I am also a sea guardian appointed by the humans. I have also helped the humans. Does that mean that I can't be trusted? I even drank wine and ate meat with the human king. Right, there is also the God creation envoy. He even used a body with me. He was just saying it casually, but it was just that awesome. It was not like he did not have a backer." Li Wuji was secretly pleased. "You dare to touch me. Aren't you afraid of revenge? Who would take revenge? Of course it was the humans. After all, he was a sea guardian appointed by the humans. Although his strength was not much, he was the first force in the three realms to surrender to the humans. It was even earlier than the Xuanda Grotto heaven. Would the humans just watch him be killed?" Yin Fei suppressed the anger in his heart. His eyes were not too friendly. Seeing this, Shui Li laughed and stepped on Li Wuji's foot again. He laughed and said, "This little calf only knows how to talk nonsense all day long." Yin Fei, don't bother with it. Since you are not willing to find external help, let's go. Yin Fei did not care about Li Wuji anymore. He hated this little calf very much. Unfortunately, other than him, no one else in Emperor Nan's bloodline had recovered. There was, but junior brother Qin Yun had recovered. In the end, thinking of this, Yin Fei frowned slightly. He knew a little about how Qin Yun died. The humans killed a saint of Emperor Nan's bloodline for no reason. This was also a grudge. Unfortunately, the humans were powerful now. There was nothing they could do. Moreover, he knew more. Qin Yun's death had a lot to do with Li Wuji. Fong Ping banished Qin Yun into the fake heavenly tomb. The reason was that Qin Yun had occupied the Water Force Island and banished Li Wuji, the Sea Guardian. That was why he had an excuse to banish Qin Yun, causing Qin Yun to be killed by King Wu and the others. Yin Fei was still thinking. Li Wuji kicked the patriarch with his hoof, revealing a puzzled look. Really not looking for the humans? Patriarch, if we don't look for the humans for help, I won't be at ease if we follow this guy. I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid that he will attack me from behind. Li Wuji was worried about Yin Fei. Shui Li also transmitted his voice. Cut the crap. Yin Fei is the first disciple of Emperor Nan. Your patriarch is still alive. He won't do anything to you. What if I kill you as well? I heard that there are many people eyeing your beef. Shui Li really wanted to stomp him to death. Was this something a descendant should say? Shui Li's eyes were unfriendly. He transmitted his voice. Remember, your patriarch is a member of Emperor Nan's bloodline. Unless you really split with Emperor Nan now, Yin Fei now represents Emperor Nan. Don't provoke him again. You want to rely on the humans. I know what you're thinking, but you have to know that the humans have no emperor. If they lose, they will be doomed eternally. And Emperor Nan is an emperor after all. Li Wuji knew this, but did not care too much. He was not stupid. At this moment, he transmitted his voice. Patriarch, invest separately. You continue to be loyal to Emperor Nan. Wuji will rely on the humans. This way, if the 9 emperors win, the Patriarch will save Wuji's life. If the humans win, Wuji will save the Patriarch's life. Wuji had also studied the history books of the various races in the 3 realms. When the dynasties fought for hegemony, the rise of the dynasties, and the chaos, the great clans would invest in many aspects. It would be troublesome if they were hung on a tree. Would Emperor Nan definitely win? That was not necessarily the case. Anyway, Wuji felt that the humans still had hope. Moreover, Wuji was only a true god. In the bloodline of the emperors, there was no lack of true gods. But in the humans, true gods were also the backbone of the power and were more valued. Shueli looked at this descendant with a strange expression. This little calf was not stupid after all. However, Waterly transmitted his voice. We'll discuss this later. Patriarch, it's not later. Wuji needs some proof of allegiance. Wuji feels that this treasured land is a good opportunity. Why don't we secretly inform the humans and do them a favor, lest the human kings think that we have something important to hide? Yin Fei is here. I can't send the message. Li Wuji did not care. That's you. Who said that I can't? He did not say anything else to prevent the transmission from being eavesdropped. Soon, a group of 1 man and 2 oxen rose into the air and left the water-force divine island. Not long after they left, Li Wuji, who was flying, shattered a jade pendant in his stomach. Just as they left for a period of time, a figure appeared with a flash, taking away a jade pendant near the water-force god island. It was used to transmit sound. The water-force divine island moved, and so did the other forces. In the West Royal Palace, Heaven's Extremity cursed and continued to flee on the West Royal Palace. Beside him, Shengnan looked like he wanted to say something. Heaven's Extremity suddenly turned around and cursed. You told him? Bastard. How dare you? This guy came to us to send us to our deaths. If you want to go, leave the West Royal Palace immediately. Shengnan smiled bitterly. Your Highness, eldest senior brother is. What is he? Heaven's Extremity snorted. More like courting death. Do you really think you can do anything just because you are a heavenly king? The patrol is still being watched by all forces. Do you really think you are safe? If anything happens in the 3 realms, the first to die will be the patrol. Getting rid of the spies of the sovereigns is the consensus of all forces. There will be no good ending if you get involved with these people. But eldest senior brother said that this is an opportunity for your Highness to break through 7 or even 8. Shengnan said respectfully, Your Highness, with the emergence of experts from all the branches and the emergence of those who break through 8, your Highness can't hide forever. There will always be accidents like last time. Heaven's Extremity's expression was ugly. Last time he failed miserably. At the last moment, he actually went to kill the sovereigns. What a great humiliation! Shengnan actually dared to hurt him. Shengnan said sincerely, Your Highness, if you want to live longer and more comfortably, you must have strength. Eldest senior brother said that this time, it was Master's order to invite your Highness to the secret place. I don't even know where Father is. What he says is the truth. Heaven's Extremity snorted. Father's order. Who knows where Father is now? But after thinking for a while, Heaven's Extremity still snorted. Fine, I will accompany him this time. But this time, you watch carefully. If you are not careful, these people will die. When that time comes, don't blame me for not saving them. You too, if you insist on going, don't blame me if you die. If he is killed this time, it will prove that I was right. Don't get involved with these people. Heaven's Extremity was also helpless. That guy was tracking and saying that it was Father's order. He had no choice. Shengnan and the others all listened to his nonsense. After thinking about it, Heaven's extremity felt that it was good to go this time. The danger of his death was not as great as he thought. The others might not kill him. Those who really dared to kill him were actually those few fellows from the human race. However, he had no enmity with the human race. At most, when he encountered danger, he would just beg for mercy, surrender, and admit defeat. Not attacking, all right. Martial kings and human kings were domineering, but he was a harmless heavenly king. What was the benefit of killing him? After thinking this through, Heaven's extremity decided to go. If there were benefits, he would take them. If there were no benefits, he would retreat. If there was danger, he would run. Just like that. After thinking this through, Heaven's extremity no longer moved the Western Imperial Palace. Soon, the aura of a heavenly king followed. Heaven's extremity cursed in a low voice. Don't blame me for not attacking if you die. Chapter 1281. 4th of June. Early in the morning, the divine sect set off. In the vast sea, 30 people were still a small target. 2 heavenly kings led the team, and 6 saint powerhouses. At this moment, Fong Ping was also in front of the crowd. This group of people did not walk in the air, but they still had style. Tian Bai controlled the saint token, which turned into the shape of a ship, shuttling in the void. The speed was not too fast. These people did not know where that place was exactly. At this moment, in front of the bow, Yuan Gang and the other 2 were positioning themselves. How exactly positioning was not Fong Ping's concern. Tian Bai controlled the sage's token and said with a smile, "Have you ever been to the deep sea?" Fong Ping shook his head and sighed. "No, I don't dare to. In the past, I wanted to go to the deep sea to look for opportunities. In the end, not far from Godox Island, I encountered a crisis. I never knew who the powerhouse that deterred me was. I only found out a few days ago that it was the overlord of Sealed Sky Island." Tian Bai was surprised. "Have you encountered the overlord?" "I met him once. After that, I concentrated on cultivation and did not dare to go out without permission to avoid trouble. Even if I felt that there was no enemy in God's land, I did not dare to go to God's land. Although Godox Island is small, there is no need to worry about my life." Fong Ping explained. It was considered an explanation for why he, an emperor-level powerhouse, did not enter the catacombs when there were no powerhouses in the catacombs that day. "Little guy, you still want to test me? If the overlord is dead, you can ask him. Ask him if he encountered me and deterred me. He was an emperor powerhouse and not a demon. It was actually still a problem for him to survive overseas. Those overseas were usually old antiques. But he was not. In that case, he had to find an excuse not to leave Godox Island." At the side, King Huai did not even blink. He sighed in his heart. 21 years old, this lie came out of his mouth so easily. Was this guy cultivating or researching these things all these years? Tian Bai was also calm and collected. No matter whether he had doubts or not, the overlord was already dead. Even if Fong was still alive, it was not his turn to ask Fong whether this was true or not. Fong probably did not know that a venerable emperor was not a heavenly king. Even if the overlord met him, he might not say anything. Tian Bai was not suspecting Fong Ping's identity. He just wanted to get to the bottom of things and ask more questions. An expert who rose in the later years of the earthly Emperor God dynasty and was about to become a sage was no ordinary person. Such people all had hopes of reaching the heavenly king realm. Tian Bai didn't dwell on this and asked, "Then do you know Sage Haiyu?" According to King Huai, Divine Ox Island isn't far from where Haiyu went into seclusion. Haiyu, the one who was conferred the title of Sea Guardian by the new heavenly courts. Previously, when Fong Ping had killed a large number of catacomb saints, this fellow had gone out to the sea to stop the sea of trees, so he had managed to escape. Fong Ping shook his head. "I've never met one." "What a pity," Tian Bai said with a smile. "Haiyu is very powerful in the saint realm. When he fought with Lin Hai, he was not at a disadvantage. He is also one of the top saints. If you are familiar with him, you may be able to persuade him to join the sect." Fong Ping smiled bitterly. "That's the heavenly court sea guardian. Even if I know him, I'm afraid he won't listen to me." "That's true. Tianbai continued to ask some questions. It wasn't really an inquiry, but a casual chat. Fong Ping dealt with him easily. Although Tianbai and the other old antiques were difficult to deal with, they weren't necessarily smart. Fong Ping wasn't completely clueless about the overseas. When they chatted, he would often bring Tianbai off topic. After a few times, Tianbai stopped asking. In front, King Qian stood at the bow of the ship. Beside him, King Jin looked around. It wasn't easy. He locked the area and frowned. Lu Shan from the North King's side will definitely come. Other than Lu Shan, there should be at least another heavenly king coming. Who do you think it will be? Li Zhu is more likely. King Qian said in a deep voice. Hong Yu still needs to guard the heavenly court and defend against the humans. As for Li Zhu and the weapon master, Hong Yu actually trusts Li Zhu more. Li Zhu is harder to deal with than the weapon master. Tianji might come too. King Jin nodded slightly and said, as for the humans, I'm afraid they will also come after receiving the news. Also, the Chuwu lineage might know about it. We have to be careful. Although it's just a secret place, it might cause chaos. As he said that, King Jin hesitated. That place, other than the Demon Emperor, no one else has been there before? It's hard to say. King Qian smiled. If no one has been there before, the patrol might not be so concerned about it. Someone might have been there before, but they didn't reveal it to the public. It's hard to tell if it's the four who are still alive or the dead. After King Qian finished, he raised his eyebrows slightly. I've been to the Tomb of Heaven a few times. Of course, I didn't go too deep. In the past, I also felt something was wrong. However, I felt a sense of danger, so I didn't dare to go too deep in fear of accidents. You also feel that it's dangerous? It's dangerous. King Qian's tone became heavier. You should be careful too. The 3 realms are filled with danger now. Out of the 8 kings, only the 3 of us are still alive. Hong Kuan is at the 8th rank, so he's much safer than us. He's also the son of the Earth Emperor. As for you and me, we don't have that much confidence. King Jin's expression also became heavy. He couldn't help but curse in a low voice. That bastard Fong Ping has ruined many of my plans. Killing the Life King had ruined his plan to unify the catacombs. Killing King Sun had caused him to lose a powerful ally. Taking away his Heavenly King seal had also caused him to lose a powerful trump card. Whenever he thought of Fong Ping, he was filled with anger. King Qian smiled. There are many people who hate him in the 3 realms, but he has already grown. It's useless to talk about it now. Fong Ping can't die now. It's actually better if he doesn't die. If the Emperor descends, Fong Ping will be the main target. He can also help us block some storms. That fellow is courting death by humiliating the Emperor. The Emperor will never let him go. Although they also participated in the war, it wasn't as serious as Fong Ping. Unless the Emperor killed all the powerhouses in the 3 realms, the culprit could only be Fong Ping and Zhang Tao. As the 2 of them were talking, Yuan Gang suddenly said, "Steer to the left." As soon as he said that, the ship sailed to the left. Liar. Do you know how to steer to the left? At this moment, Fong Ping felt that he was being despised by a man, no, a cat. Fong Ping was stunned. This cat was actually mocking him? It asked if he knew how to steer to the left? Fong Ping was furious. Would he not know how to steer to the left? Was he as stupid as you? Fong Ping remained calm and collected. He pinched the cat's tail, no, the tiger's tail. The cat grimaced in pain. I'm just asking. You went the wrong way just now. I thought you didn't know how to steer to the left. A man and a cat were playing around in the dark. At this moment, King Huai walked over. He glanced at Fong Ping and said softly, "A little further, and we'll reach the Celestial Cemetery." Beside him, Tianbai laughed. Have you been to the Celestial Cemetery before? No. King Huai shook his head but still said, I once entered the Forbidden Sea and accidentally learned that the Celestial Cemetery is in this area. It's said that it's extremely dangerous. Just as the Huai King said this, an incomparably huge demonic beast soundlessly rammed its head into the ship. Boom! There was a loud explosion and the ship shook. In front, King Qian snorted softly and slapped out with his palm. With a puff, this monster that was close to the Emperor level was directly smashed into pieces. King Qian said lightly, True gods, stay closer to the inside. In this bitter sea, there are some ancient monsters. Their intelligence is not high, but their strength is not weak. Be careful of being attacked. When the true gods heard this, they moved closer to the inside one after another, not daring to stand at the edge. The bitter sea was the most dangerous. There were many monsters. The shallow sea area was still fine. The monsters still had intelligence. In the deep sea area, some monsters had no intelligence at all. Ancient monsters. These monsters were so strong that some people had even encountered saint level. As for heavenly kings, no one had encountered them. For heavenly kings, they could deal with them. For true gods, it was often a narrow escape. They were talking, but Fong Ping was investigating something. Something from a long time ago. A map. Yes, when he went to Blacklight Heaven, Heavenly Emperor Blacklight was not a good person. At that time, he gave him a map and asked him to give it to old Zhang, saying that it was a map of the Celestial Cemetery. He had gone to the Celestial Cemetery with Heavenly Dog, but it was extremely dangerous. In the past, he wanted to trap and kill old Zhang. However, old Zhang was not stupid. He had never been there. Now, Fong Ping did not care anymore. He used it now. At this moment, a map of the sea area appeared in Fong Ping's mind. It had always been difficult for Fong Ping to distinguish the maps in the sea. However, this map was different. It was more like a projection in his mind. Fong Ping compared it. Very quickly, he found a place that might be where he was. Fong Ping checked. About a few 100,000 li ahead, he should be in the Celestial Cemetery. However, there were many red areas on the map. There were no real scenes. They were all dangerous areas. Since entering the Celestial Cemetery, such dangerous areas had appeared. There were many of them. One had to know that Heavenly Emperor Blacklight and the others had gone with Heavenly Dog. Of course, Heavenly Dog might not have taken care of them. Even so, a group of Emperor-level powerhouses and some Saint-level powerhouses went to the Celestial Cemetery and suffered heavy casualties. It was clear that the Celestial Cemetery was dangerous. Even so, these people had not been able to enter the depths. In the end, only Heavenly Dog had entered. Fong Ping was still looking at the map. In front, King Jin said, "The Celestial Cemetery is surrounded by space cracks. Even I can't withstand some of them. Everyone, please be careful. Don't touch them recklessly." The Celestial Cemetery was the core of the war in the past. It was also the place where the Celestial Court fell. It will always move. The space cracks will move along with it. These people had never been to the real Celestial Cemetery. However, they had a general idea of the situation. What King Jin said was all basic information. Fong Ping did not care much. He asked secretly, "Big Cat, tell me about the situation in the Celestial Cemetery." The cat knew more than these people. The cat whipped Fong Ping's ear with its tail to take revenge on Fong Ping for pinching its tail. Then it transmitted its voice proudly. "The Celestial Cemetery is the place where the Celestial Court fell. Actually, I did not see much. However, it was very dangerous. That war broke the 9 heavens here. It could not be healed. The Celestial Court was directly rushed into the space barrier and prevented the 9 heavens from healing. The cracks in the 9 heavens might appear in the first heavens. Anyway, this place is very chaotic. There is space turbulence everywhere. Liar, be careful. The cracks in the 8th heavens might not be able to cut you to death, but the cracks in the 9th heavens might also cut you to death. However, I don't know if the 9th heavens is broken. It only stayed for a while before leaving. It only knew that it was very dangerous." The cat tried hard to recall and said, "Also, many people died in this place. It might be the same as the time in the Imperial Tomb. Corpses might appear. They are not resurrected. They are mutilated corpses with resentment. Normal corpses are fine. However, there were many powerhouses who participated in the war. There were also many beginner martial artists who died. If you encounter them, be careful." Fong Ping understood. He had encountered emperor corpses before. These people were already dead, but their remnant consciousness was still there. There was still hope for them to be resurrected, but the chances were very small. However, these corpses were powerful when they were alive. They would not be weak after death. In addition, they were not afraid of death. This secret place was in the celestial cemetery. He did not know if it was the core of the celestial court. However, even if it was the core of the celestial court, what opportunities would there be? The death of the demon emperor took away many things. For example, why did he despair back then? Before this, the demon emperor was actually fighting vigorously. However, since returning from the celestial cemetery, he became much more passive. He even began to plan for reincarnation. Reincarnation was not the demon emperor's character. However, he still chose to do so. Fong Ping did not know what he was thinking. After his death, some things became completely mysterious. Now perhaps there was a chance to unravel these mysteries. Just as Fong Ping and the others were moving forward, the other powerhouses also led their teams over. On the ocean side, Li Zhu stood in front of the giant longsword. Beside him, Tianji and Lu Shan were also there. 3 Heavenly King powerhouses. Other than these 3, the 2 top saints, the governor and Hai Yu, were also there. There were also many other emperors and true gods. Lu Shan's expression was solemn. While scouting, he said, "Lord Li, we are about to enter the celestial cemetery. This time, our biggest opponents are the Medicine God Island and the Divine Sect." Li Zhu raised his hand and said lightly, "No, our greatest opponents will never be them, but accidents." Lu Shan frowned slightly. Li Zhu chuckled and said, "Accidents are everywhere. The few in the celestial cemetery who have broken through 8 might all be accidents. As for the humans outside, they are accidents." This time, there is no movement from the humans. This king is not at ease. They don't know the news. Lu Shan did not take it seriously. They did not know about this. "You just think that they don't know," Li Zhu said lightly. "Didn't the demon emperor tell the humans before he died? Even if he didn't, what about his reincarnation? Who did the demon emperor reincarnate into?" This king has inferred that there are at most 3 humans who are reincarnated fiend emperors. Jiang Hao, Jiang Chao, Qin Fengqing. Lu Shan frowned. He did not know any of them. It's possible that all 3 of them are involved, and these 3 people have not been heard from for a long time. If so, we can't rule out the possibility that the humans got the news 1 step ahead of us. So, we can't let our guard down. Compared to the powerhouses who have broken through 8, the humans are more dangerous. Li Zhu shook his head. Fong Ping better not come. If he comes, it will be a big deal. Originally, it was just a treasure-hunting trip. If he comes, he won't be satisfied if he doesn't kill a few heavenly kings. He didn't get any benefits. Everyone who heard this wanted to laugh. However, they could not laugh. This was true. That guy Fong Ping, if it was a small matter, he could turn it into a big matter in no time. Li Zhu was worried that Fong Ping would get the news and get involved. That would be big trouble. That lunatic, who knew what he would do? Maybe he would go to the heavenly cemetery's core and release those few beginner powerhouses. Even if those fellows were all lunatics and killed the origin as soon as they saw it, Fong Ping might not care. Li Zhu thought about it for a long time. He could only say that anyone who met Fong Ping was like a scholar meeting a soldier. There was no way to reason with him. Fong Ping did not plan to reason with anyone at all. If there was a disagreement, he would flip the table. "If I don't eat, you don't eat either. We'll starve together." Even if flipping the table would be dangerous, this guy would not consider the consequences. Listening to Li Zhu talking about Fong Ping, behind him a few young people were also talking about Fong Ping. The younger generation of the catacombs had mostly been killed by Fong Ping. However, there were still a few familiar faces alive. Hua Yu, Li Yi, Ji Yao. All 3 were alive. Not only that, all 3 were now true gods. Hua Yu was because King Hua had helped, so Li Zhu and the others had agreed to help him ascend. Li Yi was because he was Li Zhu's son. Whether it was true or not, no one asked. Ji Yao was even simpler. Ji Hong had sold the entire Destiny Royal Court and completely given up his power in the catacombs in exchange for Hong Yu's personal help. Other than these 3, Left Commander Hua Qidao was also present. Hearing Li Zhu mention Fong Ping, Hua Yu smiled. King Rin is now awe-inspiring. Everyone in the 3 realms knows about him. In the past, we never thought he would reach this point. Li Yi's expression was dark as he said coldly, if you and Ji Yao had not colluded with him and reached an agreement with him at the king's battlefield, he would have died long ago. Hua Yi smiled and did not say anything. This guy's father was Li Zhu. He did not dare to offend him now. He did not dare, but Ji Yao did not mind. She snorted. You dare to say this? If you and Feng Yexing had not brought him into Sky Plant City, he would not be like this. There were some things that no one wanted to say. The main reason was Li Zhu. He was so powerful. That day at Sky Plant City, he should have discovered something amiss. In order to hide his strength, he let Feng Ping go. That was releasing a tiger back into the mountains. In front, Li Zhu tilted his head and smiled. Do not blame the heavens and others. This is fate. Even without Feng Ping, there might still be Zhang Ping and Qin Ping. All of you are the seeds of this generation of God continent. The human race is filled with experts, and the younger generation is rising. My God continent can't fall behind either. This is also your chance. The three realms are about to be in chaos. There will be more opportunities in chaos. Do not think that there is no hope just because you are a true king today. It would not be surprising if you become an emperor or heavenly king one day. With that, Li Zhu looked at Hua Qidao and smiled. Qidao is a true king who proved his Dao on his own. He has a higher chance than an and the rest. You are also the only true king in God continent besides Jihong. This time you also have a high chance. In the past 100 years in the catacombs, there were actually many who proved their Dao. The Right Divine General and Jihong were both powerhouses who proved their Dao in the past 100 years. However, Hua Qidao was the youngest and he relied on himself. The Right Divine General and Jihong proved their Dao with some help from Life Monarch and Li Zhu. Hua Qidao bowed slightly and did not speak. Li Zhu smiled. His eyes were deep as he looked forward again. At this moment, Lu Shan suddenly shouted, "Why hide when you are here?" As soon as he said that, figures appeared one after another. The God Emperor's first seat, Yi, stood at the front. He looked at the crowd and smiled. Lu Shan, King Li, you are here too. Li Zhu and his people had killed many inspectors previously. However, no one mentioned it now. Li Zhu did not mention it either. He smiled. Heavenly King Yi, Heaven's fate, you came faster than us. There were many powerhouses on the other side, including 3 heavenly kings. However, Li Zhu was not too worried. Heavenly King Yi might not be his match. He was more worried about the unknown. Li Zhu spoke. On the other side, Heaven's fate said, it has nothing to do with me. I am just here to take a look. There is no need to look for me. Li Zhu laughed, direct and straightforward. Li Zhu looked around and smiled. The people from the Hydro Divine Island are not here yet. I heard that the people from the Human Sovereign sect have joined them. I wonder if they will come this time. Heavenly King Yi smiled. They might not be here. The grave of heaven is always moving. They might have gone in another direction. Li Zhu did not dwell on this. He asked, can you pinpoint the exact location? Yes. Heavenly King Yi said. However, it is best if all 4 inspectors are here. Only then can we pinpoint the location. If we barge in recklessly, it will be easy for us to get into trouble. Li Zhu looked at Lu Shan. Lu Shan nodded and said softly, we have an agreement. If we come here, we will meet at the Myriad Worlds Palace in the grave of heaven. Myriad Worlds Palace, Li Zhu smiled. The Hall of Tribute in the Heavenly Court? Yes. It still exists? Yes, it is on the outskirts. Lu Shan answered. Li Zhu said lightly, so, you are familiar with this place. Have you been here before? Since you have been here, why don't you just take the treasures? Lu Shan, Heavenly King Yi, and the others paused. Heavenly King Yi quickly smiled. We have never been here. Jiyun has been here and told us some things. So, we know some things about this place. Li Zhu smiled. He did not expose them. However, he became more vigilant. These people had been here before, but they did not dare to take the treasures alone. Now, they had to recruit people from all sides. It was almost the same time. It was impossible to say that it was an accident. Obviously, the 4 inspectors all had their own goals. They had informed each other beforehand. This time, they were here to recruit people. What kind of danger made the four heavenly kings not dare to come here without permission? Li Zhu quickly judged. At this moment, more people came from behind. They were the people from the Hydro Divine Island. Li Zhu glanced at them, but didn't greet them. He said, "The four inspectors are here. Let's talk about whether the divine sect will come or not. Let's go in first. If they don't come, it's best. If they come, let them find a way in." Heavenly King Yi glanced at him, smiled, and said, "Okay, we will listen to King Li." Li Zhu didn't mind. In the next moment, he sent a message to Heaven's Will, "Try to stay with me. These for all inspectors. Even Sheng Hong might not be on your side. You want to avoid them, but these people insisted on inviting you here. Maybe they have other purposes." Heaven's Will glanced at him. At this moment, he didn't come closer. Instead, he moved further away. "Am I stupid? If I stay with you, you will be a good person? If these people want to scheme against me, they will kill you first. If I see danger, I will find a chance to run. Who will fight with you? How dare you?" Even Heaven's Will didn't want to talk to him. Li Zhu must be stupid. Li Zhu was speechless. This guy, he had never seen him so timid before. In the fake sky grave, he cured the crazy Heaven's Will, but now the coward Heaven's Will appeared. Li Zhu didn't know if this was good or bad. Chapter 1282. Rumble. Thunder roared. At this moment, Fong Ping's group had reached the boundary of the Tomb of Heaven. The void was chaotic, and the space was turbulent. Cracks were everywhere. Sometimes they would pass by suddenly. The ship formed by the Sage Token had already raised a thick energy shield. The few sages took action to maintain the shield. "Be careful," King Qian shouted. His expression was solemn. The god sect didn't have any patrollers. He didn't know where the patrollers had agreed to meet. Without a patroller to lead the way, he could only rely on Yuan Gang and the others to find the secret place. If he went to the Tomb of Heaven alone, he wouldn't be so worried. But now, he brought a large number of core forces. If something happened, it would be troublesome. "King Jin, be careful and protect them," King Qian shouted. King Jin didn't dare to delay and quickly took action. As for King Qian, he spread out his mentality to prevent ambushes and accidents from happening. Rumble. Another clap of thunder rang out. In the sky, there really were flashes of lightning. Thunder was born in the void. The black crack instantly hit the ship. Pucci. The energy shield was cut open. King Jin grabbed a true god who was near the shield and pulled him to the side. Bang! A crisp sound was heard. A 5-petal lotus bloomed in the air. The power of breaking 5. The true god who was pulled to the side showed fear on his face. Breaking 5. Even a slightly weaker overlord could be killed instantly. This place was too dangerous. King Jin shouted again, "Sages, stay outside. Overlord, gather. True gods, stay close to me. Don't run around." Even a sage expert would be able to resist a broken 6 crack for a while. As for the higher sages breaking 7 and breaking 8, they were rarely seen. Even here, they hadn't encountered one yet. King Qian also shouted, "Everyone be careful. This place was attacked by countless experts in the past. The ruins left behind are extremely dangerous. The void has been broken for many years and hasn't healed. Don't move." The two heavenly kings reminded them again. The true gods trembled and didn't dare to move. King Ping Shan subconsciously moved closer to Fong Ping. Compared to the others, he felt that Fong Ping was safer. King Huai's expression was also solemn as he said in a low voice, "The celestial cemetery is indeed dangerous. No wonder no one dares to come here. Even a martial saint would be in danger of dying at any time if they come here. Monarch, unbelievable." This was a relic left behind by the battle between the sovereigns 8,000 years ago, but now even the sages found it difficult to enter safely. Over the past 8,000 years, this place had not become safer with the passage of time. Instead, it had become more and more dangerous. Fong Ping did not reply. At this moment, his expression was more solemn. At this moment, Fong Ping suddenly took a step to the side. In the next moment, the defensive shield in front of him shattered, and a six-petal lotus erupted directly. Fong Ping pulled King Pingshan away smoothly. Breaking 6. This time, King Jin and King Qian looked at him again. However, Fong Ping only avoided it and didn't take it head-on. Both of them looked at him and didn't say anything. It could only be said that Fong Ping's senses were sharp. Pucci. Right at this moment, a true god was suddenly cleaved into two halves. In the blink of an eye, it was devoured by the rift. King Qian stretched his hand out to grab and tore through the air. However, he only managed to grab a thigh. His face was extremely gloomy. He, who had broken through 7 times, actually hadn't sensed the crack explode just now. Humph! With a cold snort, King Qian's spiritual energy erupted and covered the entire ship as he shouted, "Prophet, activate the Saint Order." As soon as he said that, a Saint Order appeared in Prophet Saint's hand and covered the sky instantly. Fong Ping's eyes moved slightly. Another Saint Order. King Kun gave it to Prophet Saint. In this way, he had 2 Saint Orders. With 2 Saint Orders, it was slightly safer. With 2 heavenly kings working together and many saints, at least no one died again. As for the true god who died previously, it could only be said that he was unlucky. Both heavenly kings didn't go all out previously. At the same time when a true god of the divine sect died, at the core of the tomb of heaven, in the void of the universe, Heavenly Hound suddenly looked up at the sky. Sherp was looking too. Drip! Tiny raindrops fell. They were blood red. Heavenly Hound stretched its head and looked into the depths of the void. It said coldly, "A true god broke into this place and died?" When a true god died in the 3 realms, there wouldn't usually be blood rain, only blood clouds. However, this place was very complicated. The 9th heaven was broken. Without the obstruction of the 9th heaven, when a true god died here, there would usually be blood rain. Sherpa said indifferently, "So what if he died? Even a saint wouldn't be safe in this place if he accidentally broke in, let alone a true god." He didn't care too much. So what if he died? Recently, even the heavenly kings who broke 8 had died, let alone a true god. On the other side of the void, Tian Chun frowned slightly. The 3 realms know that the Sky Cemetery is dangerous. Why would a true god break in without permission? Did something happen in the periphery? Hearing this, the Heavenly Hound lost interest. It crouched in the void and said lightly, "Let them be. If they're not afraid of death, continue to go deeper." This place was so dangerous that even it was a little afraid. If someone was not afraid of death, then just come. There was movement in the periphery. The others didn't care about this. In another place, several forces met and began to gather at the agreed location. Along the way, there were many dangers. Everyone was extremely cautious. Even so, martial artists below the Heavenly King level were still constantly injured. There were no deaths. The vitality of powerhouses was incomparably strong. At the same time, when all forces entered the Sky Cemetery, outside the chaotic Sky Cemetery, on the sea, figures appeared one after another. A middle-aged man said in a low voice, "They went in. The inspectors, Li Zhu, King Qian, and the others have all gone in. Sacred martial arts, have you informed Lord Skyarm? Beginner martial arts experts, Sacred Martial God was also among them." He nodded and said in a low voice, "Yes." Lord Skyarm said he'll be here soon. These source martial artists have entered the Sky Cemetery. I don't know if they're going to attack Fist God and the others, or if they have other motives. No matter what, we can't sit back and watch. Someone said, once the source powerhouses surround and kill the lords, we must act immediately. All the powerhouses were very solemn. The source powerhouses were worried that someone had suddenly entered the Sky Cemetery to deal with the sealed beginner martial artists. All these years, they had wanted to rescue them. But in the past, the seals were so strong that they couldn't do anything. Now, with the source powerhouses restraining them, they couldn't enter the Sky Cemetery. Now that they had finally reached this point, were the source powerhouses going to attack? There didn't seem to be anyone from the human clan. Did they not know, or did they not want to get involved? Just as they were anxious, the void was torn apart. Skyarm came. Not only did he come, but he also brought a young man with him. Skyarm didn't introduce the young man. He already knew everything. At this moment, he said calmly, "Tell the god of the underworld that if there's any danger, he'll wake up immediately and enter the sky cemetery. I'll go in first." "Lord!" They were still worried. Skyarm raised his hand and said, "It's okay." Then, he stepped into the void and entered with the young man beside him. Everyone looked at the person he brought. Some frowned. Why did Lord Skyarm bring this person? "Lord, why did you bring me here?" Tai too looked confused. "Why did you bring me here?" "Let's go and take a look." Skyarm took a deep breath. "I seem to have sensed the seed's aura." The seed appeared in the human world back then, but the human world isn't the same as before. I originally wanted to send you to the human world to see if there's a chance. But the sky cemetery is the same. This was the core of the heaven realm back then, the core of the three realms. The seed might have appeared here back then. I have sensed it. It's very weak, but it's somewhat similar to the seed's aura back then. Whether you can seize this opportunity will depend on your luck. The entry of the origin powerhouses might be related to this matter. I might not be able to escort you there. Be careful. The seed. Li Hansong nodded, but his heart was perturbed. Would he have to meet those origin powerhouses? Someone knew him. Of course, when Li Hansong appeared outside, he usually wore armor and covered his head. Ordinary people might not recognize him. But if someone from the catacombs came, they might recognize him. Li Hansong looked at his bald head and muttered in his heart. They might not recognize me, right? I've changed a lot from before. I've become stronger. My bones have grown a lot bigger. As for my aura, it's different from before. I hope they don't recognize me. Li Hansong was a little embarrassed. If he was recognized, he might be beaten to death by Skyarm. At the edge of the sky cemetery, countless black cracks appeared. And in this pitch-black area, there was a completely different place. There was light. A majestic palace stood in the void. Myriad Worlds Palace. In the past, sky beyond skies, overseas islands, and various powerhouses held court meetings. The powerhouses of the three realms, even if they dominated a region, had to come to the heavenly court to pay tribute and attend court meetings when there was a major event in the heavenly court. For 8,000 years, this hall still stood in this void and had not been destroyed. The surroundings had long been covered by black cracks. This place was extremely dangerous. Myriad Worlds Palace was the place where the inspectors agreed to meet. The Grand Hall was faintly discernible in the void at this moment, as if it did not exist in this void. The ninth heaven was in chaos, and the origin was in chaos. This was the heavenly tomb. Some places had their realm walls completely broken in the past and could not be restored. There were countless spatial turbulences. At this moment, it was unknown which level of heaven this hall stood on. Silence. Silence. Other than the occasional lotus flowers blooming in the void, there was no sound. These lotus flowers appeared especially resplendent and beautiful in this darkness. What a beautiful scene! However, if it was seen by others, no one would feel that it was beautiful. They would only feel a chill. Each lotus flower represented a broken spatial crack. At this moment, waves of fluctuation spread and voices could be heard. Someone yelled, "Be careful, don't tear the void. The void here is chaotic and can restrain your power. Those with weak control of power, try to restrain yourself and don't attack." The powerhouses were scolding. Soon, dots of light appeared in the distance. Li Zhu and the others were about to arrive. At this moment, these people were in a sorry state. The heavenly kings were fine, but the others, including the sages, were also in a sorry state. Some of them had blood on their bodies, and wounds had yet to disappear. What the hell is this place? Li Wuji could not help but complain. This place was too dangerous. He was almost devoured just now. Luckily, the old ancestor pulled him back, or else he would have died here. Shui Li's expression was solemn. This place was really dangerous. At this moment, Shui Li suddenly looked at the bright area and said happily, "Myriad Worlds Palace. They had arrived at Myriad World's palace. At the side, Ian Fei solemnly said, "We've arrived at the Myriad World's palace. However, if we want to find the secret grounds, we have to enter the Myriad World's palace. The surroundings of the Myriad World's palace are filled with spatial rifts that surround it. It's incomparably dangerous. Even if a heavenly king encountered so many spatial rifts, we still don't know if there are 8 or 9 spatial rifts hidden within." "The secret place is in Myriad World's palace?" Shui Li asked. Ian Fei shook his head. "I'm not sure about the specifics, but we have to go through the Myriad World's palace. We'll search there." How did Unquestionable enter back then? Everyone was puzzled. At this moment, they also saw the densely packed black cracks, and their scalps went numb. Of course, being able to see light and Myriad World's palace meant that this place was not completely filled with cracks. However, how had Unquestionable Sword managed to enter this place back then? Everyone shook their heads. There was no way to find out. Demon Emperor was dead. His death had also taken these secrets with him. No one knew how he, with his absolute strength, had been able to enter that secret place. Just as everyone was talking, Heaven's Fate suddenly turned to leave. Seeing this, Sheng Hong could not help but ask, "Heaven's Fate, where are you going?" Heaven's Fate answered without turning his head, "Home. This damnable place is filled with spatial rifts, and I wonder if there are any that can break through to the 9th level. It's too dangerous. Once we go in, if some immoral person attacks us, we'll all be buried here." "I'm not going in." He was not going to do it. Seeing this place, he felt that it was frighteningly dangerous. If someone suddenly attacked these cracks when everyone entered, causing them to become unstable and shatter, everyone would die. He did not dare to gamble with his life. Although his words were timid, they instantly caught everyone's attention. At this moment, Li Zhu said, "Heaven's Fate is right. We do need to be careful. We don't know if the people from the celestial religion will come. Once someone attacks while we are scouting, the cracks will explode. Even 8 cracks cannot be guaranteed to survive." On the other side, he also spoke, "Heaven's Fate, don't be in a hurry to leave. We will not throw our lives away. Since we are here, there are naturally other ways." "You have a way?" Heaven's Fate looked at him suspiciously. "Then take it out. I'm most worried about you guys. You know a lot, but you don't say anything. Just one word, chance. What's the use of chance? You have to be alive to take it. You tricked us into coming here, but you still don't tell us the details. Do you think we are stupid?" Asked Li Zhu. "Doesn't he know you have a purpose? He's just playing dumb. But I am not willing. I don't want to die." Li Zhu smiled, looking at Heavenly King Yi. "Heavenly King," he said in a low voice, "I'm not trying to hide it. I really don't know much. Of course, I do know some, but there is no hurry. We are also monitoring the celestial religion. They will come. Wait until the celestial religion's people arrive." Heaven's Fate didn't leave. He smiled. "In my opinion, this damn place should be left to the human clan. Let Fong Ping and King Wu come. They are not afraid of death. Even if they know it is a trap, they will still try. You should cooperate with them. Whoever kills someone, that is their ability. Why are you looking for us? Aren't you bullying honest people?" Everyone was speechless. The way he said it sounded really awkward. Heavenly King, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Sheng Hong smiled bitterly. "Heaven's Fate, you are Master's son. Why would I harm you?" Heaven's Fate sneered. "Why not? If you really didn't, you would have appeared in the past 8,000 years. You have been cultivating in the dark for 8,000 years. I have been guarding the broken palace in the West Palace. No one cared about me. As for my father, if he couldn't come, it would be fine. But if he could, he didn't care about me. Humph." Heaven's Fate snorted. "Even if my father loved me, if he is killed in the future, don't expect me to plead for him. I don't have that ability." Everyone was stunned. Wasn't this guy afraid that his father would strike him to death if he knew what he said? Sheng Hong said angrily, "Heaven's Fate, what's wrong?" Heaven's Fate said indignantly, "Is there anything wrong with what I said? I am a madman. After 8,000 years, I have gone mad. Don't talk to me about family. After 8,000 years of loneliness, I have long forgotten about family." Sheng Hong frowned. At the side, Shengnan said softly, "Your Highness, Master must have his reasons. Heaven's fate didn't care." He had been looking forward to the old man's arrival in the Three Realms. Now, it was just like that. He didn't look forward to it too much. He felt that the old man's arrival might not be a good thing. Heavenly King Yi and the others were speechless. Some things couldn't be said now. The Emperor hadn't appeared in 8,000 years. Some descendants of the Emperor actually had complaints and resentment towards the Emperor. What did it feel like to be abandoned for 8,000 years? They knew nothing and lived like a madman. They lived for 8,000 years. After 8,000 years, someone told them that the Emperor was actually silently watching them. They had always been there, but they just didn't appear. Such a blow would make some people go crazy. Heaven's fate's behavior made it hard for them to say anything. This was his family matter. Moreover, it was hard to say whether the Emperor still had feelings. Over the years, there were descendants of the Emperor who had fallen. As they were talking, Li Zhu and the others suddenly looked toward the periphery. The void was shaking, and a huge spaceship was flying toward them. In front of the spaceship, the aura of the two heavenly kings erupted, intimidating everyone. Tianbai and Tianji, who were controlling the Saint token, were pale. The people of the divine sect had arrived. It was not that they knew they would gather here, but that Yuan Gang and the others were exploring in this direction. King Qin also sensed the aura of the people in front and said in a low voice, "They are all here. It seems that they are indeed here." Yuan Gang was also relieved and said, "They should be here, but everyone should be careful. I'm afraid the inspectors know more than we do." On the ship, King Huai said to Fang Ping, "Follow me later. Brother Niu, be careful. There are many heavenly kings here, and we know nothing. Don't act rashly." "Brother Huai, don't worry." Fang Ping smiled and nodded slightly. He stuffed the cat into his chest. The cat struggled to poke its head out, feeling a little wronged. Fang Ping continued to press it in and said, "Hide for a while. Li Zhu and the others are too familiar with me. If we are not careful, our identities will be exposed. Although you have become a tiger now, such a stupid and cute tiger easily reminds people of a cat." The cat looked innocent. Really? Was this cat stupid? No way. Fang Ping did not care about it. He stuffed it in and began to look at the people in front. There were many people. Li Zhu, Celestial Polarity, for inspectors, Tianji, 7 heavenly king powerhouses. Including them, there were 9 heavenly kings. There were more saints. He saw the governor, Hai Yu, Shui Li, Qing Tong. They were all acquaintances. There were also some emperor-level and some true gods. There were also many acquaintances among the true gods. When Fang Ping saw Hua Qidao, he frowned slightly. In fact, according to his thinking, it was useless for Hua Qidao to ambush in the catacombs now. It was better to return to Earth. But old Zhang did not allow it. As for why, Fang Ping did not want to say anything. The war was not over yet. Hua Qidao's hands were stained with human blood. His return at this moment might shake some things, including old Zhang's prestige. It was a very real problem. Old Zhang might not care about these, but he dared not do it. His son had killed the human heroes who fought on the front line. This was a fact. Even if Hua Qidao had his own difficulties, it was useless. The current human race did not need those voices of doubt. They did not need to complicate matters. If that was the case, then Hua Qidao could not return. Even if he hid it from many people, he could not hide it from everyone. Fang Ping felt that it was okay, but old Zhang dared not do it. Fang Ping was also very helpless. Some things sounded simple, but it was indeed very difficult to do. He did not look at Hua Qidao anymore. Fang Ping was afraid of attracting attention. At this time, both sides had already begun to meet. Li Zhu looked at King Qian and smiled. "King Qian, King Jin, King Kun are not here." King Qian smiled faintly. "They will naturally appear when they are needed." Li Zhu also smiled. "I'm afraid it's too late. Hong Kun Break 8 is the strongest. The rift can't stop him. It might not be because of the rift." The two of them spoke one after another. Celestial Polarity, who was listening, said impatiently, "What are you testing for?" You haven't seen the benefits yet. Is there any meaning in testing? After a few times, I'm tired of working with you people. There are no benefits at all. Every time, there is internal strife. After so many times, I have taken a lot of risks and almost died a few times. What's the result? Nothing. Working with you bastards, I might as well go back and cultivate for a few days. Maybe the effect will be better. Celestial Polarity was dissatisfied. He was here again. He hated these guys. It was not too late to fight among themselves when you saw the benefits. Now that there was nothing to see, what the hell were you planning? No matter how he calculated, he still got nothing in the end. It was a waste of time. Li Zhu laughed and cupped his hands. Prince Celestial Polarity, please excuse me. Having said that, he did not say anything else. He looked at Heavenly King Yi and smiled. Yi, since everyone is here, we should have a rule. There is no hurry. Heavenly King Yi looked around and smiled. Since we are here, we can't let others follow us and take advantage of us. Everyone disturb the void, lest others take advantage of us and hit us when we are down. The few heavenly kings did not say much. They all laughed. In the next moment, they attacked one after another, disturbing the void in all directions. Fissures shattered in all directions. In the void, someone groaned. In the next moment, a figure appeared. Everyone looked at that person. The figure appeared, and with a bitter expression, he said softly, Gong Yu greets everyone. Gong Yuzi. Everyone frowned. The Demon Emperor's master. Previously, when the Demon Emperor helped him open up the Great Tao, Gong Yuzi fled into the depths of the Sea of Bitterness. No one expected him to appear in the heavenly tomb. Li Zhu glanced at him and smiled. Since Sect Master Gong Yu is here, come to the heavenly court. We will move together later. The Demon Emperor's master might be useful. The current Gong Yuzi also had the strength of a saint. He was not weak. This was the Demon Emperor's land of opportunity. Maybe he knew something. When the Demon Emperor returned, he stayed in the Emperor's tomb for a long time. Gong Yuzi even helped him set things up so he might know something. Gong Yuzi glanced at Li Zhu, then at the others. He cupped his hands. Thank you, King Li, for your good intentions. I will not trouble you. I will go alone. That is up to you. Li Zhu laughed. He did not care too much. Since he appeared, it would not be so easy to go alone. Is there anyone else? They stirred the void again. In this place, the void was full of cracks, making it difficult to detect people hiding. However, stirring the void would cause those hiding to show themselves unless they were extremely strong. Again and again and again and again. In the end, someone could not bear it anymore. He cursed, Enough! Enough is enough. Damn, why did you force me to come out? I was just passing by. Let's see if we can get some benefits. Enough! While cursing, Chaos walked out with a huge sword on his shoulder. He was a bit depressed. It was fine for others to be the Oriole, but he was the Oriole. How did he get discovered so quickly? Everyone was speechless. Chaos. This guy actually followed them. Li Zhu was helpless as well. So many experts were on the move, and Luo Nan was the overlord of an area. He had nothing better to do and couldn't find anyone to fight. Seeing that everyone had fled, it wasn't strange for him to come here. Other than Chaos, was there anyone else? The void was still trembling, but this time, no one appeared after a long time. At this time, Heavenly King, he stopped stirring the void. He said, In that case, let's discuss how to enter Myriad World's palace. Myriad World's palace was right in front of them. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.